hopefully we're live. This bloody chair. I need to buy a new milking stool. Good evening everyone, Mike here, Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To. It is Saturday the 30th of August 2025 and it is approximately 8:15. Thanks to those of you that have joined us this Saturday evening. It's absolutely persisting down outside. So if you are in Great Britain, let us know what the weather's like near you, because it's bloody awful here. So much so that there was a massive torrential downpour just now. So I actually went over and grabbed my jet foam sprayer for cleaning the car, which has got some solution in it ready to go. Give it a quick pump, give the cars a quick blast over, and the cars are now looking nice and clean. So thanks, baby Jesus and God, for the rain downpour. It was much appreciated and saved me going to the local car wash. Excellent stuff. Vianney says in the UK. Yes, we are in the UK.
Yeah, because he said he was going to have a wonderful night. I wondered where he was.
Ah, right, I got you. I understand. So yeah, I can see from David Underhill, it's a bit chilly there. Minus 1.2 degrees, and it feels like minus 3.5. That's awful. We've got all that to come, unfortunately. Rick says, I can hear you and see you. I wish I lived there. I love the rain. I love the way you think, Mike. It's good. Yeah, if you can get your car clean for free, then, well, not free, but basically effortless, other than pumping up the pump sprayer. Excellent stuff. Chucking it down in Northern Ireland, says Mark Gaines. Dear. Yeah, it's not great. It is looking very autumnal, Mark Barry. You're absolutely right. And it's officially the last day of winter in Australia. Excellent stuff. So onward and upward. Oh. If only that was the thing.
I'd love that to be the case here.
If it was set in stone, like British summertime, when that started, if it actually became summer, it would be excellent. But it rarely does. Anyway, I shouldn't moan. Greg says, here in Canada, winter means minus 40 C. I'm not too sure what the lowest temperature I've actually ever seen in the UK is. I'm guessing it's about minus 12, maybe minus 10. I think that's about the lowest we've seen when we had like the beast from the east. It was pretty cold then.
Very cold,
but yeah.
I was outside in a t-shirt.
Isn't it funny? No matter where you live in the world, you always want somebody else's environment or weather or political system. So, yeah, strange world we live in. Anyway, on tonight's stream, we will be taking a look at possibly one of the nicest, cheapest cases that I've seen in a very long time from a brand known as CIT, which traditionally meant horrible bargain basement cases, which a lot of companies use for flip builds and also enthusiasts use for flip builds. And they made some of the worst power supplies known to man. Although, having said that, some of them weren't too bad. The CIT ATV, I think they were, or the CIT Pros, they weren't too bad.
What was that black and red one that we reviewed?
Oh, God,
and
yeah.
When we left the BBC, we took all the content out because it was our case.
Matthew Day will know that. I think it's the F3, the CIT F3.
And we took everything out of it, didn't we? And put it in a beige case and left when we left.
Yeah.
And took our case.
Oh dear.
Off
good times.
Well,
anyway, Welly Bob says, that coffee cup, is that product placement, Mike? This one? That coffee, is this, no, not,
it's not even coffee.
It's not even coffee, it's fake coffee. And it's a dirty cup, been using it all day. Very good. Need that, say. I'm not sure if it's the weather, or it's just that I've been working pretty much, well, Kath and I both work essentially 7 days a week. We don't really get a day off. I think it's starting to catch up now. The nights are drawing in and the sun's not shining as much. I'm feeling a little bit tired today. Definitely starting to feel it a little bit.
Tonic.
Yes, anyway. There you go. Right, so yeah, we'll be looking at the CIT DS360 case. Now there's a couple of versions available. Comes in black, white, and also there's versions with actually two different types of fans. They do an ARGB version and like a Pro version. The Pro version comes with better fans, seemingly, and prices vary from anywhere around the sort of £45 mark for the bare case, up to around about £70 to £75 the case with all of the fans. So you might need to do a little bit of shopping around to see which one works best for you. I'm in a very fortunate position where I've got lots and lots of fans knocking around. So I thought, well, it's an absolutely excellent opportunity to use some fans which I've already got here. So I may start doing a little bit of a build in it as we go through, taking a look at it, see what it's like. If it's trash, I'm just going to send it back. I'm not even going to get involved with it. But I thought for just under £50, which I think I paid £47 for it from Amazon UK, it's got to be worth a look. It actually looks quite impressive from the visuals, and obviously from the thumbnail you've probably seen it anyway, but we'll take a closer look, see what it's all about, and see if it's a worthwhile investment. It reminds me a lot of the Deepcool CG530, which I'm guessing it does share quite a lot of design with, other than that extra kind of angle on the front. And also, obviously, they've borrowed some of the design from Height with that kind of extra panel on the front there, which a lot of other companies seem to be copying as well. So yeah, we'll see what it's like. Have a look at it. Also, depending how things go, I've potentially got some other products to show. So this is one which is absolutely terrifying. This is the Thermalright KG850W. This is a fully modular, gold rated, did I say fully modular? I did. Fully modular, gold rated power supply from Thermalright, flown all the way in from the good old China via AliExpress. They don't seem to sell it anywhere else, and potentially with good reason. It's a very weird power supply. We'll go through it in some detail. I've already made the kind of unboxing video, so I'm happy to do things to it now which might be catastrophic. It's got some of the thinnest gauge wiring I've ever seen. It reminds me of like a 500 watt power supply from back in the day, and not a good one. So the cables are very, very thin and fine. 18 gauge cabling for those that are interested. But otherwise, it kind of ticks a lot of boxes. The capacitors inside seem to be a relatively good brand, and the main bulk capacitor is actually from Nippon Chemicon, which are kind of like, in the tier ratings, they're like second from top. Ideally in a power supply or electrical components you want Rubicon, those seem to be the best ones, but the Nippon Chemicons are kind of like the next one down, and that is what this is using, which seems really weird. And the design internally, the layout, etc., all looks pretty decent, and it's at a pretty decent price. I picked this up for £57, including shipping and taxes. So 57 per quid for 850 watt power supply, which is ATX 3.1 and PCI Express Gen 5.1. Seems to be a little bit too good to be true, and I'm a bit hesitant about what I'm going to use it in. So yeah, I'll be interested to hear your thoughts on it during the stream. Gav, yes.
My 822
Timu.
Grr.
Right. I'm thinking of upgrading my B550 Steel Legend to a B450 Steel Legend to a B550 Steel Legend. Should my Windows still boot okay? Yeah. Essentially, it's the same setup. It's the same drivers for the chipset. It might get a little bit upset depending on the audio solution, but generally it's probably going to be absolutely fine. I can't see any reason why that shouldn't be fine. A little bit of a strange one to go from a B450 to a B550 of the same board. But I guess if you like it, then why not? What's this? People comparing ages. Welly Bob's 56. Mark Berry's 57. Dutch Jan says, I'm so old that my body sometimes says in the morning, you shouldn't have done that yesterday. I think we've all been there. Susan Robbins says, don't use anything power supply related with 18 gauge wiring in it. That is junk. Yeah, it's an unusual one. Now the thing is, you'd think that they would have designed the power supply to handle the loads that it's intended to do. So yeah, it's a weird one. It comes with a 5-year warranty, although being that it's from AliExpress and from Thermalright, which I've honestly never had to return anything to Thermalright other than like via Amazon if it is damaged or not not needed anymore. I've never had a Thermalright product fail, and potentially this might be the first one. You never know. Yeah, so it's a bit of a strange one. The downside of it is as well, it's got a god-awful fan in there which doesn't have zero fan technology, and it sounds absolutely hideous. I know a lot of people don't care less, they wear headphones, etc., but for me, it bothers me insanely. Hence why, in front of the power supply, you'll see conveniently placed, there is a Noctua, what is this? This is a Noctua NF-P12, and ironically, Arctic, not being one to copy or anything, this is also a P12, the P12 silent. So we might take it apart and swap out the fan to see if we can get it quieter. Because if it's quieter, I can forgive it a lot of its other things. But if it's noisy, it just drives me absolutely bananas. We don't like that at all. Yes, Gav?
Dimmu says it has a PCIe 4 compatibility.
Ah, right, okay.
Does that make a difference?
Yeah, it's a handy thing to have. Mike, you need a 5090 for power supply testing. Rick, I don't. I really don't. I wouldn't buy one anyway, even if they were half the price. Actually, even if they were less than half the price, I probably still wouldn't buy a 5090. I think it's just a crazy thing.
So, October Guy is Lone Wolf from Discord.
Ah, right, okay. Andy Davis says, hey Mike, speaking about RMA, please raise to everyone the issues with warranty on eBuyer purchase products now they have been liquidated. Cheers, Andy. Yeah, that's a good point. Actually, if you've bought anything from eBuyer, I think I have actually within the last year, basically your warranty is gone, other than with the original manufacturer, if you can still provide or get a receipt. I'm not sure actually, if you go to eBuyer now, if you log into your account, if that is still a thing, can you still get hold of your order history, or have they nuked that out of oblivion? Michael Bellingham, good evening. Have I missed much? No, nothing at all really. Just me wittering on. Hello, Flame. Oh, I got a traffic.
Bite complex.
Anyway.
What can you bite back at?
Andy Davis says, they Asus refused my warranty and there's no history. Balls. Okay. What's that?
What can you bite at? What can you say?
No, it's probably where I did that thing earlier with my teeth to take the cap off that pen. Anyway, moving on. So we're going to take a look at that as well and potentially modify the bejesus out of it with different fans, which might make me slightly happier. It probably won't, to be fair, but
He likes breaking stuff.
the chances of me returning this to AliExpress are basically, well, none. I don't think, I've never tried it, so I don't know if it's a thing or not.
You have sent something back.
What's AliExpress?
I'm sure you did. It was like a UK return address, wasn't it?
Actually, yeah, you're right. What was that?
I don't know what it was.
Oh, fans. Set of fans which were wrong. They sent the wrong ones, didn't they?
Something, yeah, I remember you doing it.
Also, I've got this from Thermalright also. Not sponsored, obviously, because Thermalright don't sponsor anybody, at least as far as I know. They don't even send out review samples, as far as I know. This is a new cooler out. So this is their Thermalright, I don't even know what it's called, actually. Assassin Spirit 120 Evo. Ooh, get you. So I'm not even sure what the difference is, other than it's nice and blacked out, and it's got what appears to be a newer looking RGB fan. Potentially it's got more heat pipes than previously, but what is upgraded? So no idea. Still got the Gen 4 heat pipes, hybrid ARGB lighting, high-end thermal paste, 100% RAM compatibility. Yeah, sounds good. We like it. What's the... Nearly 70 CFM on airflow for the cooler, so that's actually pretty decent. We like that. Skystalker, how much did shipping cost to return the stuff to AliExpress? I can't imagine it was worth it. I think they sent me a postage label. Yeah.
I don't think it cost us anything.
If I did have to send it back, I think the last time I sent something back ages ago,
the only thing
was probably a couple of quid for like a smallish package. So I don't think it was particularly expensive. Anything with any weight to it or any bulk to it, returning to China is just not worth it at all. So power supply wise, if you were sending this to China, realistically it's going to cost you probably getting close to what it cost to buy. So you're probably looking about like 30 odd quid at least And that's assuming that it gets there. So yeah, I would be... Oh, graphics card, wasn't it? Didn't they send me a graphics card which was dodgy or something as well?
I think that was the only thing you had.
Was it? I'm sure there were some fans as well that I ordered that was wrong, but I might have not returned those. But the graphics card they sent...
Yeah, I think it was a graphics card.
Actually, no, the graphics card, they sent me just a tiny little bag, didn't they? And I was like, well, how can you fit a graphics card in a bag this big?
Oh, yeah. It was a tiny little...
Tiny little bag. It's like, that ain't a graphics card.
Did it have something in there?
I think it was even empty, wasn't it? They sent me like an empty Jiffy bag. Like, smaller than like an Amazon envelope like this. Like about half that size.
It's even smaller than that.
It might have even been folded in half like that. So about that size with a label on it, and it's like supposed to be a graphics card. It's like,
That's Maisie's bed.
Sorry, Maisie, that's her bed. I will unfold it. Anyway, there you go. Rick says, Mike, that cooler is going for 25 bucks on Amazon US. I paid over here, I think it was £20, just under £20. It does fluctuate. The thing is with Thermalright products, especially here in the UK, depending if you're buying it from Amazon or CCL, places like that, prices are all over the place. So you really have to kind of shop around to see what is getting better. Paul Lamont says, I remember that scam from them. Yes, I do recall it myself, unfortunately. Right, so, what should we do? Should we just get straight on and have a look at this case? One of our viewers, potentially, who's new to the Discord and possibly new to the channel, they might have, Kath might even said their name earlier, I don't think it did. Someone come on to the Discord earlier because they just got this case, the DS360, they literally got it today, wanting to do a build in it, and they didn't know how to get the glass off. So they come onto the Discord asking about an hour ago. And it's like, well, I don't know yet. It's still in the bloody box. I've not even taken it out of the box yet. You lot get to see it at the same time as me. So, should we do that? Should we take a look at the case? What do you think? Let me know in the chat. And also if you've got anything nice to say. Say something nice. I feel like I need it today. Need a bit of a moral boost. I could do a biscuit boost, actually. There's probably one in the fridge. George buys packs of them.
Got some nice belts though, didn't you today?
Where's my fillings falling out? Can't feel it.
Doesn't matter.
Probably swallowed it. It's alright, it's only made of mercury.
It's all just fear mongering.
Now this is actually very light, which is potentially not a good sign. Let's get the other light on, because unfortunately this is actually a black case.
Can we win it?
Can you win what?
Black case.
Yeah, you can win it by paying only £47 to Amazon on the links provided in the video show notes. Alright, £50 then.
I think it's 59.
You can,
54, wasn't it?
you can pay £50 and you can win a ticket to potentially win one of these delivered to your door. Right, the packaging, as you can see, isn't particularly, well, it's very CIT. DS360 ATX Gaming Cube. It's not a cube. If anything, it's not a cube because it's got the corner cut out. Dicks.
It's not a what?
It's not a cube. Because they've literally cut out the corner, it would stop it being a cube anyway. 6 times port for PWM fans. So maybe they've actually left the hub in there as well. That'd be interesting. Motherboard and top mounted 360mm radiator. So you can put a 360 in the side and a 360 in the top. Obviously you don't want to put one in the bottom because that's just ridiculous. On the side there, got the packaging info. The actual gross weight included the packaging is like under 7 kilos. So that gives you some idea of how lightweight it actually is. And the case itself on its own, just over 5.5 kilos. And you've got the options for no fans, the Celsius fans, or the Storm fans. I think I said Pro ones earlier, so some other website called them Pros. And there's more stuff on that side. Oh, I don't like Toothache.
Jason Woods as well.
Hey, Jason Woods. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. And I will get around to doing your PC soon. So again, it's been another one of those ridiculous weeks where it's just, well, it feels like it was Sunday only yesterday. It's like come round again. It was bank holiday, wasn't it, this weekend? This week?
Yeah, those 16-hour days are...
Jeez. They are. 16 hours of sleep a day. Oh, something went dunk. No Poppy. Right, am I electrocuted? Nope.
Oh, bless you. Can you tell what it is yet?
No, Rolf, I can't.
Oh, don't be scared, Otis.
It's not Rolf Harris. Honest. Actually, not too badly packaged.
David Underhill is under there.
It feels like, yeah.
One day you'll get around to doing his PC soon.
I doubt it. We know you too well.
Mike, will you make my PC has been lying there unopened in its boxes for months now?
That's got to be Rasher.
Yeah.
Okay, so there is there's the general design aesthetic. So it's very fish tank-esque with the a little corner section, which is kind of nice. Not too bad at all. You've got the usual stuff, so you've got the kind of El Cheapo magnetic mesh filter on the top. Hexagonal mesh, very nice to see that. Hopefully it's top and bottom. That would be absolutely fantastic. But it looks like it's hexagonal mesh pretty much everywhere else. So yeah, I like that. That's pretty decent. Let's have a quick look on the bottom, see what's going on. It does appear full width filter. And no, actually it's not too badly built. Hexagonal mesh on the bottom. So yeah, this gets my immediate seal of approval, because that is going to mean that this case is going to breathe very well.
Isn't that quite a nice filter?
It's not a bad filter. I've seen worse. The thing is, to be fair, I would never use that anyway. I would just keep that open for airflow, because like I said before, it's really hard for dust to fall down, go underneath, and then get pulled back up again, unless you're running your fans at full speed, in which case, if you're running your fans at full speed, you're probably doing something wrong, because no one should really be running their fans at full speed. They should just be very lightly running at a moderate tempo.
You need to take the plastic film, looks like crap with it on.
It does actually, yeah. The filter is not easy to get in. So that is a little bit of a disappointment. Would have been nice to have a little bit of an easier access there. Right, so for the person who was wondering how the side panel comes off, it is actually very easy. There's a little tag at the top here, and all you want to do is just pull that towards you and it will pop off. It is actually held in a rail to some extent, but if you do let it go, it may bend it. So I think it will. No, it is going to bend. So yeah, take it off. There is a ledge at the bottom. Actually, two little notches which line up on the bottom. So just put it back in, line up on the bottom, and push, and that's closed. Pretty nice. Pop that out again. So yeah, little tag there. So yeah, just pops off from the front. That works okay. Now these on the side, I'm not too sure how these are going to work out. So I'm hoping, yep, they are pop-off ones as well, and beveled edges. So that's nice. Nice, easy access. Hopefully it's going to be the same for this one. No, that feels like it doesn't want to come out. Bless your hearts. Yeah, so this one I think is probably going to need some screws taken out to remove that. That does appear to be... Oh yeah, I think that's actually stuck in. So that, I don't think that comes out at all. I think that is fixed. It's a bit of a shame, but yeah, it's fine. Little bit of flex there, to be expected because you've got that bend, so it's not going to be as strong as it would be if it was just a 90 degree. But still pretty good. The glass is supporting the ledge. Yeah, the glass fits in under the lip. But yeah, I don't dislike it. So let's see, we've got a little baggie here. Let's take that out. And then we'll have a look around on the inside and see what else is going on. So what we've got in here. Ah, there is a hub in there. So there's a PWM and ARGB hub with 6 ports, I believe they said it was. So let's open that up. Have a little look. It would appear that all of the, 6 of the standoffs have been installed straight from the factory, requiring you to install a further 6.
President CA, do you remember I had an issue with my NVMe drive where the write speed was low? I found out that the firmware needed to be updated, and I also enabled the gaming feature in the dashboard software.
Ah, very good. I'm glad to hear you got there in the end, Tito. Captain Tito. What was it, Captain Tito? President Tito. Thank you very much.
October guy, that is who is Lone Wolf.
Hey, October guy.
Thanks, Mike, you are a lifesaver.
No problem. It doesn't actually come with any of the...
Sorry, I might have said it wrong. It's got Love Wolf in the...
Oh, Love Wolf, okay. Hasn't got any of the adapters in, so you will need a 5mm hex wrench or socket adapter. Or you can just use pliers if you want to. Not the end of the world that they didn't put them in. It would have been nice to have seen them pre-installed. These days, most cases kind of do use, or most motherboards do use, either 8 or 9 standoffs, depending if it's micro ATX or the ATX form factor. There's those in, and they use the fine screws. So if you're putting it together, it's the fine threaded screws. Just double check that to make sure. Yeah, the fine threaded screws. Not too bad at all. So the actual PWM stroke ARGB hub, usual kind of stuff. It looks like it's the same as the Thermalright one. So you've got your PWM inputs, or outputs rather, on this side. The color-coded one being the sense pin. You've also got the cable there for SATA for power, and also the option to plug in a reset switch. So that means that this has actually got some form of its own control in it. So if you don't have a motherboard with ARGB control, potentially you can do that. You've got your motherboard ARGB header, and also the PWM, just a 2-pin one because it just needs the PWM signal and probably the RPM signal. So yeah, it's pretty good, and that appears to be magnetic. It is magnetic, so that's quite handy as well. Nice that it's included on a case that doesn't actually come with fans. You get some cable ties, and also you get some spare little plastic latches, so that's what the glass pops into. So yeah, for 50 quid I'm pretty impressed already. Yes, Kath?
Did anyone order those cheap NVMe drives from overclockers about 3 weeks ago?
Yes.
Heard any delivery dates yet?
Yes. Apparently they are due in the first week of September, and they will be shipped out then. That courtesy of Dave Aitken. He was chasing his up because he's ordered some as well. So yeah, it looks like it'll be the first week of September. So yeah, should be any time, well, next week I guess. Hopefully they get them out pretty sharpish, because I could do with one for this build. I've got to the stage where I've run down all my supplies again. So RAM and M.2 drives are getting a little bit on the low side.
Processors.
And processors, yeah. I've got more motherboards I can shake a stick at. Hence why I'm buying cases now. Right, so on the back you can put in a 120mm fan, a little bit of adjustment there. Also hexagonal mesh, love to see that. Absolutely tons and tons and tons of clearance above the motherboard. So for putting in your cables for your EPS, your fans, etc. I think that's probably about 70mm of clearance, if not slightly more. What we got there, so yeah, about 70mm to the top of the motherboard. Slightly more If you go to the center of the actual retaining screws, about 75. So yeah, best part of 70mm of clearance. So radiators generally tend to be about 27mm thick, plus the fans about 25 to 27mm, depending on what they are. So you're looking at, what's that, 52, 53 maybe. So still a little bit of clearance there, so you can get your plugs into your motherboard without having to do finger origami, which is always fun. It's not, I'm lying.
How do you know you've never done it?
Finger origami. Can always do that. Yes, Kath.
Welly Bob. Hi, sorry, but I'm hearing Mike's microphone sometimes catching on his shirt.
Oh, sorry.
Headphones on here. I'm being with you, by the way. Sorry.
Let me put it on the outside.
I'll share for 50 quid. Looks great value.
Yeah.
Obviously don't like it. Cheap metal.
I think it's quite nice. I'm relatively impressed. So on the side as well, loads of cutouts there. So if you are putting a radiator or fans in there, the airflow is going to be tremendous because there's nothing really restricting it. So again, another plus point for that. The hexagonal mesh on the bottom, so you can put the fans in there as well. 120mm fans on the bottom. You can put 3 120s in the bottom. You can put 3 120s in the top, and you put 3 120s in the side. So 10 fans in total. 3, 3, 3, and 1. More than adequate. And also hexagonal mesh on the back. Fantastic, like that a lot. A little bit of a recess there as well. So if you do put a radiator in the side section, you can still also put a relatively large graphics card in. So you've got 50mm at least. Well, it's actually closer to 60. So if you take into account the motherboard, graphics card sticking out from it a little bit. So yeah, even if you put a radiator on the side, graphics card, even if it's going to be right out to the end here, it's going to be absolutely fine, no problems at all. And all of the cable pass-throughs, hopefully you can see, are on that side area. So yeah, excellent stuff. Yes, Kath?
A couple of questions. Any filtering on the side?
Doesn't appear to be. That may have fallen out and is in the back somewhere. Let's have a look actually on the back.
Enough space in the top seems to me the same applies to the side.
Yeah, there's a little bit less space or depth on the side than there is on the top, but still ample for either, which is excellent. And the, oh my god, are they going to be, yep, thumb screws which are welded on at the factory.
But they get rid of your thumbprints.
They do rub off your thumbprints. So if you're planning on any forms of muggery, thuggery or buggery, then you're absolutely fine, because your fingerprints will be on here. And is that? Oh, yes, wedged on the front. So 3 location wedges on the front, which go into the case, hexagonal mesh for the power supply area and also for the exhaust gases from your radiator and or fans. And note there isn't an additional filter for the side, which I'm not particularly concerned about, to be honest with you. I think that's fine. If you wanted to add some form of mesh filtration on there or a magnetic one, you can buy them relatively easily.
Or use the one off the bottom.
Yeah, or just use the one off the bottom actually. Yeah, probably would.
But you're not going to take it out because it's not going to get back in.
It was a little bit.
I know you.
It's
the
the trauma. Let's try it. Let's try some
Glad I
trauma.
got that.
So
Big.
that's perfect.
Is it?
Yeah, it is absolutely spot on. So it's actually larger than it needs to be. So if you did want to filter the side, you can put that in there and that will give you a little bit of filtration. Or if you're just not putting fans in there, then it could blank out a little bit so you don't see quite as much going on. I like it. It'd be nice if it was cheaper, but as always, I quite like it. Front I/O, nothing to write home about. Obviously, it's not going to have a Type C at this price, I don't think. Doesn't appear to be. So no, you've got a pair of USB 3.0s, which is fine. You've got your USB, so a single USB 2.0. Actually, let's have a look. That might be the other way around. It might be two USB 2.0s and one USB 3.0. So not the best I/O. So that isn't great. HD audio and blacked out reset switches, etc., etc. for your motherboard. In the back, room for very large power supplies. Also some decent area to get through to backplates, so it's nice that they haven't kind of filled that in too much with this drive tray. You can put a 3.5-inch drive on the inside of this tray and a 2.5 on the outside of it. So you can put 2 drives on there should you wish to, or you can just remove that caddy in its entirety to give you more access or cable management room. Excuse me. There is some tie down points for cable management along the sides there to keep things nice and neat. And there are some on the bottom as well, so if you want to put something in underneath here, perhaps if you're taking all your fans to kind of this location, you could stick that to the bottom, or stick it on there, where it's still going to be avoiding your power supply, or maybe just even stick it in there. Actually, there's not really enough metal there for it to stick, but not too far. And actually that does clear it as well, so you could stick it on there. So if you wanted nice, easy access to all of your RGB wiring, you could stick it on there quite easily. And being that you're going to have the majority of your fans and stuff at the top, I would guess, and around this area. So yeah, that would work actually.
Mark Dean says, Mike, on last week's live, I asked a question about my Lian Li Hydro Shift showing 100% CPU usage.
Ah, yes, I remember.
It's fixed with a firmware update.
Ah, good to hear it. Yeah, excellent stuff. I'm glad that has got sorted. And there's a super chat from our good pal Rasher123. 20 euros. It said, I wouldn't say the wife was fat, oh dear, but she fell down the stairs and I thought EastEnders was finishing.
Yeah, that's the wrong one. Did countdown.
Very good.
Should we try on the table for a bit, Mabes? Oh, that sounded like it blew a bit.
All fan spots are 120mm, says Dutch Jan. Yes, they are.
Better not jump on there, Mabes.
If you side intake dust. Yes. Not tremendously dusty, I wouldn't have thought, with the side intake. As with most things, like, depending where the PC is going to be. So, most people, if you've got a PC which is of this type of design, the likelihood is if you've got it next to you, like on a desk, you're going to have it probably on the right hand side of you like this. And because of the size of most people's desks and setups, and because you can't really see the back of the PC anyway, most people are probably going to have that quite close to like a wall or a unit or something like that. So even though there's going to be airflow around it, it's not necessarily going to be open air. At least for me it wouldn't be. If I had it up here, for example, if the rear intake is there, dust isn't generally going to get in behind there too much because of just the way it is. In most rooms it kind of goes around more accessible areas. Again, down to the thing, dust doesn't travel particularly easily. It goes with wind flow and general kind of where people are flowing throughout the house. So I don't think it'll be too bad. It won't be great, but it won't be awful. And again, you probably shouldn't have your fans running at 100% anyway, in which case they've got to get past the exterior hex and then also the radiator or whatever's there as well. I don't think it'd be too bad. Yes, Kath?
Couple of things. Oh, Bob, would a Thermalright Peerless Assassin 120 be enough to cool a R5 9600X or a 9700X?
No. None of the X range will do a good job on any X processors. But actually saying that, no.
Thermalright, you mean?
Yeah.
Not X range.
The X range of processors.
Yeah, but you said no X range will
Yeah.
be any good on the Orico.
Almost all of the X range of AMD processors, much like the K series for Intel, they all try to opportunistically boost higher and for longer and using more wattage. So with any of the 120mm tower coolers, generally they all struggle to some extent. Now I do know that with the 9000 series, they have adjusted the boost algorithms and also the TDPs are less. So I actually think, I might be wrong on this, I'm not too sure, so correct me if I am wrong. I'm pretty sure the 9600X is a 65 watt part. In which case, it would probably be okay with a 120mm tower cooler, but generally, any of the X range do try to boost higher and sometimes will struggle. But it depends what your temperatures are like and what you want it to be. I generally like my CPUs to idle around about the sort of 40 degrees mark and under heavy loads to be around about 60 to 70 Celsius. which case then I can set my fans up and I know that everything's going to be pretty easy going. Whereas with some of the X-range CPUs, because they want to hit that 95C limit, at least the 7000 series do. I'm not sure about the 9000 series, like I said previously, but that is going to cause problems because it's going to try to hit 95C all the time, unless you're undervolting or you've done some other kind of modifications in the BIOS to prevent it doing that, such as setting a artificial TDP limits or frequency limits for the CPU. So I'm not too sure. What was the other processor you said? 9600X or
9700X?
Yeah, I would probably. I generally, for the sake of it nowadays, like Thermalright's 360mm AIOs for 40 quid or so. It just takes the worry and guesswork out of it. If you don't like the look of it, I would probably go with a slightly larger cooler, just to make sure it's got some extra thermal headroom. But yeah, I'm not too sure what the TDP is of the 96X or the 97X.
Irish Outsider? I thought that would be a quick question.
Yeah, Irish Outsider. What time was
It's
it?
just above, it's below the super chat from Russia.
Alright, that's quite a while off, yeah. Irish Outsider, Mike's Unboxing. Not sure if Mike heard, Jace 2 Cents just dropped a new video. The Windows 11 SSD update is much bigger than initially thought. Affects more drives in more scenarios. I actually did watch about 8 to 10 minutes of that video, and from what I can tell, he could only get it to do it in Formula 1 when he was benchmarking it. Now, I didn't see all the videos, so I don't know the full ins and outs of it, but JB&J, I think he's possibly overhyping it. You can, well, I don't know. I didn't watch the whole video, so obviously that is a problem. And also I think he did like 4 or 5 loops of benchmarking of F1 2025 or 2024, whatever it is. So yeah, I don't know. It seemed like it was, I don't know. You know, when someone's doing something and they're trying to make it fail, and they say in the video, I'm going to keep on doing this until it fails, it kind of makes you think, like, it should not just fail straight away or very quickly. I don't know. I do need to watch more into the video to see what the deal is with that. But yeah, thanks for the question. I think it's just one of those things. I don't think we'll really ever know what it is. My opinion is that it is something to do with direct storage, but I don't know how that would coincide with other people having it happen, but not in games. Because direct storage, as far as I'm aware, only works in games. But I'm only kind of contemplating. I don't really know, is the honest answer. I think that is it. John David Sullivan. I wouldn't trust Jay's findings personally. It's like Jay's been struggling with content, like most of us have, and now that he's basically severed his ties with EK Waterblocks and somewhat with Asus as well, which is essentially what his channel revolved around for a very long time. He's kind of getting involved in a lot of things which he kind of wouldn't normally. Bless him, he's trying to kind of steer into other lanes, but I don't know. There's a lot of it around at the moment, especially with YouTube videos. I've been guilty of it myself in the past, where a new story comes out and it's all like, oh, panic stations. And it depends really, like, who you are, what you're doing. Obviously, it isn't affecting everybody. It's affecting some people. Is it down to Microsoft? Is it down to the Phison controller? Is it a Windows update problem? Is it a driver problem? I don't know. I don't think anybody knows the real answer at the moment. It'll be one of those things that time will tell. It's annoying that it's happening for sure. And I think for anyone who's using an NVMe drive, especially that has one of the alleged affected controllers, it's probably worth doing a backup of your system anyway, like a proper full metal backup. So if the drive does fail and isn't recoverable, that you have still got access to your data. I'm relatively fortunate that I back up all the machines daily to the NAS, or actually every time they turn on, and I keep snapshots as well. So for me, I don't have as much concern, but I guess there's going to be a lot of people out there who have bought cheaper drives which are based on that controller because it was quite a cost-effective one for a lot of companies. Potentially it could be a big problem. Also, it slightly makes me glad that I bought some even cheaper drives which were using the MAPI controllers or Maxion. Sky says apparently Phison or Scion have admitted that it's an issue, so not happy that my T500 and T705 are using them. Yeah, it's it is a little bit of a nose, isn't it? Matthew Day's put a link in there, so if you want to click on that, you can do to check it out. Des says my 9950 X3D runs cooler by 5C than my 7950X. Lianli Hydro Shift 2 AIO. Very nice. Viali says I got the update for Windows 11 25H2 last night, working 100%. I had an update today. I'm not sure what one it is. I just did it. It just didn't even cross my mind. David Earl says problem but if problem does exist, surely doing a backup may trigger the problem. The thing is, well, from what I can tell, the problem happens when there's bulk transfers. Now, generally, when you're doing a bulk transfer on a OS level, I don't think that is the same sort of transfer as when you're doing it, like for most backups, they use the Windows Shadow Volume service, which I think runs differently. And also, depending what you're backing up to, like if I'm backing up to my NAS, that maxes out at 280 megabytes per second. So that's like half the speed of SATA 3 saturation. No, half the speed. Yeah, it's about half the speed of the most you could get out of a SATA interface. So there isn't, yes, it is a bulk transfer, but it's a low speed transfer in terms of what games are asking for, texture loading, that sort of stuff, or benchmarking, where obviously you're hitting kind of like 3000 megabytes per second and in excess of if you're on PCI Express Gen 3 or higher on 4 and 5.
H786 says, love the watch.
Thank you very much. I like it as well. It's a present from CAF. It's not a cheap watch, but it's not the watch you think it is. It was it's made by a company called no, it's not the Biden. Invicta, INVICTA something. Yeah, Invicta watches. It's not a Rolex. It looks a little bit like a Rolex, but it's not a Rolex. If it was a Rolex, I wouldn't be wearing it.
But it wasn't expensive.
No, it wasn't expensive. It's about 40 quid, so it's not. It's still 40 quid's a lot of money, but it's not what you think it is. But thank you for noticing it.
What software are you using for Windows Snapshot backups to NAS?
I am using the Synology Active Backup for Business, but I also would recommend there's, oh god, what's the program? I just did the thing recently. Some multidrive.io. Multidrive.io, that's a good one. You can also use, oh god, what was the other one? I can't think now. Brain's gone completely blank. Macrium Reflex, actually pretty good as well. You can still get the free version, the old free version, which hasn't been updated in about a year or so. You can get that over at majorgeeks.com. Go there, get the download. It's a bit tricky to get it from Macrium themselves these days. But yeah, if you go over to majorgeeks.com, they've still got an archived copy, so you can get it there.
David Underhill, I got one of your linked MS Windows 11 keys. Took nearly 10 minutes before Win activation would happen. Weird.
Oh, right. That is strange, David Underhill. I don't know why that would be.
Not buy the 10s now.
Yeah, don't buy the Windows 11 keys. Buy the Windows 10 Pro. They're much cheaper.
Nobody wants to be paying more than £3.
Yeah. Oh, what are you pushing? Oh, the thing from Discord, the premium CD keys.
Yeah.
I wonder what you're doing.
I thought I was that bloke from Breaking Bad on my bell.
Right. Anyway, back to the case. So on the top.
Look, get me a little bell. I could ching when you had to push your button.
Yeah. You got the. Actually, let's do it from the other side. That's probably easier, isn't it? So as you can see actually quite clearly there the cutout bit on the front. I'm not sure if I like that. I think I'd have probably liked it just to have been squared off. But I guess it's different and it'll help it sell. So power button, reset button, you've got hard drive LED, power LED, individual mic and headset jacks, like those. Pair of USB 2.0s and the USB 3.0, 5 gigabit per second. Absolutely fine. It would have been nice to have seen a USB Type-C, but it hasn't got one. So there you go. In fact, actually what you could do, I've actually bought some of these already. It's quite a handy thing, and that is almost a direct replacement. If I can find it in here. Hey James Miscellaneous, how are you doing? Oh no. I actually bought this for a video which I've not got around to making yet, but I will attempt to do it. So this is a AliExpress special once again, and this is a USB Type-C adapter essentially. So you've got the normal bit which plugs into your motherboard. So that plugs into your motherboard, and then you've either got a normal USB Type-C plug. So you could, if you wanted to, unscrew the one that's in here. Actually, let's do that now. See if we can do this.
Old Bob.
Old Bob? What's old Bob doing?
I have a tampon Tampax watch. It's great. If I ever fall in the river, it'll swell up and save me life.
That's neat. James says, good. Gotta see a nice fish tank case here. It's a nice case, actually. I quite like it. And it's relatively cost effective. I wish it was a bit cheaper, because there are a few downsides to it, but the downsides for me are very minimal.
Stupid, the case for on your desk and the IO on the top.
Yeah, that is a little bit of a pain. So I wonder if these screws match up. Oh no, they don't. That's a bit of a kerfuffle. So normally what you can do with USBs, you can just unscrew them and screw the other ones in. So because this one, the actual adapter is a little bit different size, you could just either put one screw in, or potentially you could glue it into place. So that would effectively then give you your USB Type-C. So if I put that roughly, God, whip myself in the face with it. Let me unscrew those a minute and we can have a look, see what it kind of would look like. It's a little bit of a bodge, but if you want USB Type-C for your front panel, then it's a possibility. You can do it. It can be done.
Wait till you've done it first.
Yeah. If not, alternatively, it comes with a back plate, so you can just connect it onto the rear, so you don't lose your port altogether. Just put that screw there, and whip my face again. Oh, actually, no, that wouldn't work because it is actually lower. So you would have to do some modifications to it to make that work. But those modifications could include glue quite easily. So just trim those, trim the kind of the ears off the side, and you could just glue that into place. A bit of hot glue in there will keep it in place. If you really wanted to put a USB-C. Personally, I don't know of any device now which I have needed to plug in USB-C. Not on a regular basis. Like things like phone chargers and stuff like that, yeah, okay. Most phones charge on USB-C now. But do you plug them into your PC to charge your phone? Most people tend to plug it into like a dedicated wall charger, or chuck it on a Qi charger, that sort of thing.
Europa Empire of Roma.
Europa Empire of Europa. Very cheap. Whatever it was. Very cheap, but the USB and sound buttons should be in bottom. Not easy to get. Long headset cables and charger. To joystick cable, you need a wireless everything to buy this case. You could, or you could just plug in like a cheap. Well, I use one of these. I will show you. because it is quite handy. So if you've got a case like this on your desktop and all your ports are on the top and it's a little bit of a kerfuffle, then all you do is get one of these little U-green adapters. I think this is U-green. Yeah, U-green. So that gives you 3 USB A's, gives you card reader and also a phone support. So you can stick your phone in there. And that is just a USB A cable. Just time of day is right. Plug that into the back. And then you can have that to the side of your desk, so in a more convenient position. If you want to plug in your headsets, your controllers, whatever, use one of these. I've got one on my PC over there. I've got this one, which I use over here if I ever need to, but I generally don't because I don't really plug much into it that isn't already plugged in. So yeah, that really solves the problem of the top-mounted USBs. And also, if the audio thing is a pain, you can always get a USB DAC to plug into USB and then plug in your headphones and stuff to that, if you wanted to. Now I've broken this case and I should put it back together. If I can actually get to it, just put this back together. Hopefully it's easy enough. So turn that round. Sorry, Kath, I can't do it.
I can.
Oh, what have I done now? Is that going in right? I shouldn't do this really. It's not my expertise. I don't do PC building. Oh, I know what it was. That was running the wrong way.
Unboxing a new green how to.
Yeah, I quite like the new green stuff. It's pretty decent. I've actually got recently a new MagSafe phone case. So my MagSafe compatible devices for charging up in the bedroom works actually how it should do. It's pretty good. I've lost the other screw now. Oh, for God's sakes! Actually, is that why? That's why it won't go in, because I've left the bloody screw in the locator and thing. I think. Is that why it? Did I do that? No, I couldn't have done that.
Anyone here still on Windows 10? See MS offering ESU on Windows Update page. I have 2 test systems with MS account and another here.
Ah, there's the screw.
10, I have nothing.
Yeah, Kath's on Windows 10.
So where would you get it?
Yeah, Kath don't look at anything on her computer at all, ever.
Only my tabs. I've got too many tabs.
She has a million browser tabs open. There, that's better. I can actually see what I'm doing now. Right, what other questions there? Rick says, yeah, they do seem to have a lot of great things to buy. I've actually got a box of stuff underneath the desk, which is under embargo, which I'm not allowed to show.
You right, Flamey?
So I might show that in a minute. It's actually funny because they sent me some stuff previously when we had that U-Green special on one of the live streams. And they've got this new range of stuff come out. And they messaged me and said, Mike, we've got some new stuff coming out September time. Are you interested? And it's like, yeah, closer to the time, like, give me an idea of what it's all about and what is available. And yeah, we'll discuss it. So I didn't get an email from them for ages. And then all of a sudden I get this big box from U-Green turn up. And it's got all the new kit in there. Basically, it's all based around, well, it's all around the new Qi 2 chargers, which obviously, because iPhone and also Android now support Qi 2 charging, obviously they want to get ahead of the game. So they've got Qi 2 chargers. That's a hard thing to say. So yeah, they sent them across, and I emailed saying, well, you've just sent me the stuff, like, what's the deal? And they're like, oh, this the stuff that we said that we talked about. It's like, well, I didn't really agree to take a look at it. And they're like, oh, sorry, we just assumed that you would love to because it's a great new product. It's like, yeah, but it's nice to ask. Anyway, they've sent it, and I do actually want to see what G2 stuff is like, so I will be taking a look. It is pretty cool. Yes, Kath?
I've lost it now.
Oh, you dick.
My arm hurts. Apollo Neos 01 914.
Apple 914.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Mike got one question. Thinking of ordering this case, will a 200mm PSU fit in there? The manual says yes, but to be sure. I wish I'd have read that before I'd have put the back on. Let's have a look. I think 200mm is going to be probably a little bit on the large side. Where did you get a 200mm power supply from? Or is that including the cables plugged in at the end and that, and a little bit of spare room? Most cases these days are designed to take up to like 180mm power supplies. That's the power supply itself, not including the cables, etc, etc. So let's have a look. 200mm from there is going to be...
Supernova P2.
Yeah, you should be fine with that. That's roughly about 8 inches. So it's going to be a little bit tighter because you're going to have your cables come out at the end, but it's got a nice bit of depth there, so I don't think it's going to be too much problem. So is it 200mm for the actual power supply, then the cables after? Or is it 200mm including the cable? Either way, it's fine. You have got up to, I would say, see if I can line that up, about comfortably 250mm. So you've got like an inch to route your cables either up or down out of the power supply. That's a little bit of a big power supply, but yeah, it should go in there, no problems. And if the cables aren't too chunky or aren't braided, yeah, you should be okay.
Not including cables.
Not including cables. Not including cables. It's going to be tight, but it will fit. It actually surprises me that how many people actually do buy CIT cases. I suppose it's because there's a lot of a lot of retailers and distributors in the UK which do CIT products. Because of course you've got Amazon probably being the biggest. You've got CCL, Scan, loads of sellers on eBay and all that kind of stuff. And they're generally at pretty good prices. I think, even though this is a really nice case and I do like the look of it and the overall layout, and I can forgive certain things like the USB outputs being on the top, like, okay, would have been nice to have it down the side something or on the bottom, but it isn't, so it kind of is what it is. But what I do like is the fact that it's got a lot of airflow potential. The filtration on it, yes, isn't excellent and could be better, but then if you have this case with like nylon slot-in filters and extra filters for the back, which are probably nylon as well, maybe some extra pass-throughs for back to front motherboards and stuff like that, that's when you start adding on the costs. You also throw in then like a USB Type-C or 2 USB connectors, and then it all bolts on the cost. And if you don't really need that or don't really want that, I think for under £50 as it stands, or around about £60 with a set of 4 fans, I believe, so you get 3 in the side and 1 in the back, for that sort of money, I think this is a lot of value. I really do. And I was interested to see what the white one would have been like, because I think the white one would have been quite interesting to look at as well. Right, what do I need to do to this now? What time is it? It's 9:20, so we've been on this about an hour. I don't know whether to put a motherboard in or not, because I don't think that's really going to achieve much other than show that a motherboard fits in there. Graphics cards obviously up to, well, yeah, massive. Need a bigger ruler. So, oh yeah, this ruler. So roughly about, well, 16 inches you've got roughly. A little bit more than that because the glass. So about 41 centimeters, I think. So 410 mil for a graphics card, which is massive. And if you've got a 410 mil graphics card, like, why are you buying a cheap case? You probably shouldn't be. No vertical mounting on this, and also the cardinal sin that this has performed, which I will show you next, is the rear I/O is those foldy out ones, which I don't like at all. But I understand it, because when you get to a price point where you kind of look around to see where you can save money, this is a good way of doing it. Although saying that, those what they call these punch out things, they can't be that expensive to actually do that and put the right ones in. You know what I mean? But anyway, yeah. So those are the fold out ones, which isn't great.
Apollo is saying I am between 6 for the Deep Core CG530 you reviewed.
Yeah, the CG530 is essentially the same case, really. I think this one is probably a slightly nicer layout in terms of the mesh. I don't think the CG530 had the hex mesh, which I always prefer in a case. Hexagonal mesh is awesome. It works really, really well for airflow and airflow characteristics.
What do you think about the build quality?
Yeah. I'll be honest with you, I don't think it's very bad at all. I've not come across any sharp edges. It appears to be it's lightweight, certainly. It could do with being a little bit heavier. There is a little bit of flex in areas where you've not got a lot of metal, but that is the kind of thing with most modern cases. It isn't an expensive case, so it isn't going to have that level of build quality or the thickness of steel. This is designed for a certain part of the market, for like budget builds, flip builds, where you want a PC to look expensive but not be expensive. And this is kind of like the wonder bra of cases. It's kind of, you look at it and everything looks great, but it's not until you get it home and take it out of the box that you realise that you haven't quite got what you thought you were going to get. Slightly misogynist there, I do apologise, but hopefully some of you can relate, and some of you have possibly been there. It's definitely a thing.
Where's a letter, but that sounds really bad timing.
Yeah, you don't want to ask where a letter is now after we're talking about lady bits. Yeah, I like it. I think it's a quite nice case. It looks like as well there is a space there, or a slot, for like a GPU support bracket, which they haven't included, strangely. Doesn't seem to be anything obvious there. So yeah, there is like a CPU support bracket. No doubt this case has been made for lots of other companies under different branding, maybe Gamdias possibly, or Mercury, Mars Gaming possibly. It might even be one of the oh god, what's the brand? I had the name on the tip of my tongue and it's gone.
Don't worry, Mike. I have experienced over advertised mails. Susan Robbins.
Thank you. Yeah, the ones that put rocks down their pants, that's the ones you want to avoid.
Plodding man, nice analogy. But Plodding man's first time in our stream.
Hey Plodding man, welcome to the stream. Hopefully this won't put you off further video content. It does some people, I think. They realise that actually what I'm like is, yeah, not what they expected. Anyway, so it comes with a nice hub. That's handy. That on its own is probably worth, arguably at retail, about 10 quid. If you were to buy it off AliExpress, Alibaba, that sort of thing, probably about 4 or 5 quid. So it's a nice little value added extra. The thing is, it's not included with fans, so they could have quite easily said, no, that's it. If you don't buy the fan version, you don't get the hub. But I think the fact they've thrown the hub in there is pretty nice. And actually, I had some fans put to one side, which I was going to put in here. I might as well do that, actually, because I am going to show it in a video with fans, I think. So I got some GameMax fans, which these are actually quite nice fans, and I thought they would be quite a nice thing to put in here. So let's chuck these in here, and then at least I can chuck away a bit more plastic. Sorry, recycle some more plastic, I should say.
Someone else chuck away.
Yeah, let someone else chuck it away somewhere else. I've got to remember how these go now. Oh yeah, slot together, aren't they?
They could always stop putting it all in plastic, couldn't they? And stop any production of plastic would be the quicker idea.
Yeah.
Let us use our bins like we used to use our bins. Instead of being dusting men on the side of everything else we do.
Now these fans are not reverse blade, which is unfortunate because they would look much nicer. So I'm going to commit the cardinal sin. I'm actually going to put them in the side as exhaust, where really they shouldn't be. But I haven't got any cheap reverse blade fans, so that is my mistake. But again, for most people it's going to be fine. They're not even going to be questioning the rotation or the location of the fans, that sort of stuff.
You animal.
Yeah, I know.
Don't get started on recycling.
Oh god, yeah, recycling. Recycling is a dirty word.
I think their recycling vans only have like a hole on the outside, but it's all just one compartment on the inside.
Yeah, it's fun. It is funny.
Just chuck it in anyone anyway.
At the BBC, we had the same thing. There was these bins which had a green side and a black side, and it's like recycling the green side and general waste in the black side. And literally, there's no divider in the bin. It was just that top bit. So it's like it's just done to look as if they're doing it. Absolutely hilarious.
I didn't see that.
Irish Outsider says boob is rock. They do if they're in a Wonderbra. They rock right out the top of them.
Mike, I've seen that too. WTF.
Yeah. It's definitely a thing. Yeah, there's lots of things. Like our recycling truck that comes around from the council. Yeah, if you look in the front of it, it's got all these segments of different places, but behind those segments is all like an open area. I'm pretty sure it is. It must be. Where do I want the cables to run through? I'm going to run the cables through the side. It's a little bit of annoying that that side panel doesn't appear to come out. Or does it?
And they always just chuck all the recycling into the same bloody hole anyway.
Yes,
regardless of whether it's plastic, cardboard.
I think most of the recycling gets sent off to, well, some of it gets sent off for processing, obviously, but a lot of it, I think, just gets sent to
AliExpress to recycle
China.
using.
Yeah, they send it to AliExpress to make new cases and fans. Let's see if I can get at least one screw lined up. Greenwashing. Yeah, we had a lot of greenwashing.
We're getting charged more and more for greenwashing. More work and paying them more and more to.
I'll tell you guys a funny story about recycling and like greenwashing. When me and Kath were at the BBC, I'm not sure if Kath was there at the time.
I wasn't. When you got your Prince Albert.
Yeah.
What was it called?
The Albert Award. There's what they call the Albert Award for recycling in television. And in order to get the reward, you had to hit certain targets. So because I was in the props department, so we took care of like everything from like little tiny props up to big scenery props, like making up of a full stage set. Yeah, huge pieces of scenery. And we had 4 skips out in the back of our lot, our studio section. So one bin was for general waste. We had one bin, one skip for wood, one for metal, and then one for plastics.
Cardboard and plastic.
Cardboard and plastics, sorry, yeah, that was a combo one. So when they were doing this Albert Award, they came around to the individual departments and asked about recycling. So they said, how much of your waste, your waste product is recycled? How much of it is recyclable? How much of it is just like non-recyclable? So I took them out to the back lot and said, right, if you see there's 4 skips. So that's 100% of our waste. So 3 of those skips are for recycling purposes, one of them is for general waste. Therefore, we recycle 75% of all of our product. And I said it slightly tongue-in-cheek at the time, because I didn't think they were going to take much notice of it. Of course, a couple of weeks later, when they put all the figures in, we got this like commendation for the department saying that we recycled 75% of our waste, which is like way above like the industry norm. So I'm just like, right, okay, thanks for that, thanks for the award. Now clearly, obviously, those skips, yes, there's 4 of them and 25% in each, but they don't all get emptied at the same time. Some of them get emptied like 3 times a week, some of them get emptied like never, or very rarely. Yeah, so it just seemed funny that I just said that as like a raw fact, and they took it as being genuine and gave us an award for it, which I did find absolutely hilarious.
But did you say that the general waste got emptied a lot more often?
I don't.
No, not to them, but
yeah, the general waste skip would be emptied probably 2 to 3 times a week, maybe slightly more, maybe slightly less. But like the wood skip would probably stay there for months, unless we had a massive set which we were taking out, in which case it would probably fill it up in one go.
Unless I took it home to burn.
The plastics and cardboard used to get emptied quite a lot, actually, to be fair. But yeah, it's just, I thought it was a funny little kind of anecdotal story of how much bullshit there is in the TV and also in recycling in general. It's just, yeah, it's just a ridiculous thing. It's quite funny if you think about it. The amount of money and time and effort that goes into all this nonsense, and ultimately a lot of it just ends up in landfill anyway. Allegedly.
My uncle's company supplied neon signs for a couple of casualty episodes.
Ah, right. Yeah, what company was that in?
No, not what company. Unless they want to.
What signs were they, and what? When was it? That'd be quite.
They didn't say love, did they? Remember those big love notes?
I do remember.
Love
yeah.
letters, wasn't it? They called them.
Yeah. No, those weren't neons, really. They were just illuminated things. Trying to think which. Oh, that would have been. What was the ones we had upstairs? We had 2 upstairs hung up, didn't we? Was it for a bank or like a pawn shop or something?
Pawn, not for pawn.
I'm trying to think what it was for now.
I don't know. I can't remember.
If it was around about 2012, 2013, well, maybe even it might have been a bit later than that, but around that sort of time. I think I know the ones you're talking about.
Hi, Mike. You put in those fans as it rules.
Yeah.
Why don't you turn them around?
Because they look awful the other way round. That's
PML signs Bristol.
PML signs. Ooh, that would have been a while back. So, I'm trying to think of the ones, because the neon signs, we used to keep them actually put up. Like once they'd been used, I used to hang them up as a prop in the props department, so people could see what we had. PML signs. I might even have your.
That's the company, isn't it?
Yeah, I might have. What sign was it? I might even have your number on my phone still. I've still got loads of the casualty contacts on my phone. If I can find out how to get into it. Contacts, PML. PM. No, it might be under lighting.
Pete Lock.
Pete Lock. You haven't got someone called Jazz Castleton working with you? Because I've got Jazz Castleton Lighting. Probably shouldn't say the name out loud, but anyway, here you go. Pete Lock, the owner. Nice one. You never know. Depending on when it was, our paths may have crossed. Or I may have taken your sign and done ungodly things with it. Anyway, there's the fans in, so get a general idea of how that would look. Yeah, it's nothing too elaborate, but gives you an idea of how it would potentially look. Probably need to get some more of those fans now. I actually gave away a bunch of fans the other day. Yeah, so I'm thinking, oh, I'd never use that. Current says, do you remember Giant Guitar? No, I don't.
So that'd probably be the sign. That'd probably be the last.
Do you remember a Giant Guitar? No, I don't.
The neon one.
Yeah, I can't remember that. No.
When was it? Because
Yeah, when was it?
left in
What sort of time
2018.
scale was it?
So if it was recent, we wouldn't have seen it.
I often...
Oh no, they can see me in the fan hubs. Move!
Ah! It's a good job she's not flashing as she normally is, doing something like crazy like that. What was you said earlier? I said something and you said, oh yeah, was it falling out? No, it wasn't falling out, was it?
Oh yeah, Fallout 2.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's it, yeah. I was playing Fallout 4 and Kath, look, I'm Fallout 2. Maybe talking 15, 20 years ago. Yeah, that might have been... Well, I started working there in 2007, I think it was. And I left in 2018. All right, he says, nice one, Kath. She's pretty funny. It didn't really help my my Fallout gameplay at all. Yeah. All right, I'm going to stick that back in there, and then we'll box this back up, and then we're going to try to make a Thermalright power supply a little bit quieter.
Cyberclue, hi Mike.
Hey Cyberclue, how you doing?
Have you been experiencing any SSD issues?
None whatsoever. No, nothing.
We did lots for that show, but I think Cabot Signs took over.
Yeah, I think, well, Chris Stiff from, what was Chris Stiff's company called? Do you remember?
No.
But yeah, there's a guy called Chris Stiff who used to do a lot of our sign stuff. He did mostly the kind of like the banners and things like that, but he also did
In a minute, Maisie.
some sort of external signage as well. Not sure he did lights though. Light boxes, possibly.
Maisie.
Crypto says we did neon only. I'm trying to think what signs that I had that were neon only. As we walked into the casualty prop store in Bristol, which would have probably been more like the time that you did them, we'd walk into the prop store, immediately go around to the left-hand side, is where like a little canteen area was, and I used to hang the neons above that area and on the side. I'm trying to think which ones were there. Can't think now. It is nearly 20 years ago now, so the old brain cells. I can't think. Can you think what was there? I remember, the only thing I can remember is the fly exterminator, those like ultraviolet fly exterminator.
You had a dinosaur on the women's toilet lights pull switch thing.
Yeah. Right, let's get rid of this. Hello, Maisie.
She wants to get on that box.
You can't get on that box. It goes straight through it, and I've got to put a PC case in it.
You'll see, baby. 2 minutes, you can get on the top of the box.
Wait, get out. Go on, over there.
You can climb on the box in a minute.
We'll have to get Pete round here, I think. Put a Mike's Unboxing neon. I always wanted a Mike's Unboxing neon there. In the background, so you can see where that is. But then I saw how much they cost and I thought, yeah, maybe, maybe not. Yeah, I haven't got BBC money to throw away. Well, technically I have got BBC money to throw away because what I got paid when I left, but actually what the... No, we haven't, no. This is where I'll put all this away and I'll be like, oh, balls, I've forgotten a bit. So yeah, overall, I think that is actually not a bad case. I quite like it. And I am very much looking forward to building a PC in it. Which hopefully in the next few days, when we start getting some parts delivered, that will be a reality. Yeah, or maybe next Saturday. You never know. Accessories package, that's for that and that. That can go back up there. Everything else can go into the 100% of our recycling we do here on Mike's Unboxing. Dave Hunter says, not a bad case, not for Aussie $170. Is it $170? Jeepers, that is a lot of money.
Hello. I'm going to sing Maisie.
Right, recycling. Okay.
Oh.
And more plastic recycling. Chuck that in there as well. Maisie, oh god, I'm being overrun by vermin.
Vermin, are you?
Susan Robin says it's too cheap. I don't think it is. I think actually, if you saw it actually in front of you, or you saw a PC actually in it, I don't think you'd mind it too much. It's actually quite nice. It's not worth 50 quid without the fans. Yeah, the thing is with the fans,
Away from PC.
that you can get the fan version for £60, which then puts it very much on the same trajectory as the CG530 from Deepcool, which arguably doesn't have as good a hub. That was one of the things I didn't like about the CG530, that the hub was only a 4-port and it was like screwed to the base of the case, which kind of like as soon as you connect up all the fans that come included with it, you were out of ports, which was a bit of a downside. But yeah, I think it's okay. I wouldn't say like this is an absolute stunning deal, run out and buy one, but if you like the look of the case and you've got around about 50 quid, then I think it's a reasonable shout. Free speech is dead. How you doing? 5060 is better, says Silly Mitty. It probably is. Team Drift Nation video, 60 quid. Might as well get the Lianli V100. That's going to be the new meta, I promise. Yeah, to be fair, the Lianli V100 is a spectacular case for the money. Although it has started creeping up in price, which I kind of thought would happen, because it has become very popular indeed. I would kind of like to get another one actually. It's a nice case. I've still got it in my personal rigs in the V100. Actually, saying that, Lianli are sending us out the new Lianli power supplies, the budget market ones. So they're doing a range of bronze rated power supplies, believe it or not, which is kind of interesting. And also they're sending out their universal PCI Express Gen 5 vertical mount kit. So I'm actually very interested to see what that's like. Because vertical mounting a GPU is always a pain in the ass. And I actually do quite like to do it in that V100 because I've got that chunking great graphics card in there. So I might try it. Cats are all going mad.
It's a rainy day.
Yes. Dave Rendell says Lianli V100 only $103. That's pretty nice. Paul Lamont says I bet those are still expensive. I think they probably are. The power supplies, I've not seen any real information about them other than it's a Lianli power supply, it's bronze rated, it's ATX, flaying, get out there, ATX 3.1, PCI Express 5.1 compliant. I don't know whether it's going to be modular. I don't think it will be, being that it is a bronze one. Would be nice if it was, or at least semi-modular. Semi-modular would be okay. But the thing is with semi-modular, if you're going semi-modular for in terms of design, like you might as well just go the whole hog and go fully modular. Actually, semi-modular is probably more expensive to make because you're kind of doing two separate things. You just might as well go straight into it. Right, power supply. I am going to regret this. Let's get my power supply tester. Old Faithful. The old Thermaltake. What is, I can't remember what this thing's called now. Dr. Power 3. Dun dun dun! Dr. Power 3. It's actually quite a handy thing, this, especially if you're testing power supplies, which potentially might be a little bit on the dubious side, because it gives you things on like the power grid, also gives you the voltages as well, so you can get a nice clear reading of the voltages, see if there's much kind of swinging around of the voltages or dropping. O'Reilly says, you might regret it, Mike, but we will love it. Yes, I hope so. I just realised actually, when you buy one of these, because it comes from China, you get the... What is that plug? Can you see that? What nation uses that plug? I don't think it's American. I'm guessing it might even be Chinese, but no idea. It says 10 amps, 250 volt. And I'm not sure how many countries use 250 volts. So I'm guessing possibly China? Japanese, O'Reilly says. China plug. It said on the listing on AliExpress. There we go. China. So China used 250 volts. We used 230/240. They just had to be 10 better, didn't they? India says Crypto KJ. It probably does use that, actually. It's a Chinesium plug, someone just said. Nice. Right then, let's have a look at this this power supply. This is actually terrifying. Like, if it was a 600 watt, I could forgive it things, but it's not. It's 850, and I don't think there's many people that would be thinking they're going to plug in like a 600 watt GPU to this. If you do, you're nuts. So it comes with a box of cables and some cable ties, and also a warranty guide and destruction manual. Stick that back in the box, because we don't want those quite yet. And no, thank you. Comes with a bunch of cables, so you've got your SATAs, you've got your main. So the main 24 pin, again, it's got these really, really thin cables, 18 gauge. Now, if you're not used to seeing 18 gauge cable, they are really, really thin. Like, very, very thin. Now, in terms of the actual rating of them, between the 16 gauge and 18 gauge, I think the only real difference is the 18 gauge is slightly less current capacity and also slightly lower heat. So these are rated up to ATC, the cables. Voltage wise, I think it's something like 300 volts. It does say on it, but I can't see for the life of me. Someone who's an electronics engineer could probably say, or let me know. Yeah, 300 volts, 18 AWG, and it's got ATC on there. So these aren't really great. Let's be fair. It's fully modular, which is kind of nice. And like I said, it's got a Nippon Chemicon main bulk capacitor on there, which I think was like 420 volts. So like, it's not trash, but it's not really confidence inspiring, to be fair. Does it come with the 12 volt high power? No, it comes with the newer version. It comes with the 12V6+2 whatever thing, wherever it is. These cables are also thin. I can't tell. There we are. So that as well is like a super fine cable. I'm sure that's 18 gauge as well. Yeah, it is. 18 gauge cable. 600 watts. I don't know if that is safe. Like, if these end connectors melt because the heat that's generated resistance, surely the heat generated there to make it melt is less than 80 degrees Celsius. In which case these wires are just going to evaporate. But yeah, let's actually, I'm not even going to plug it in. I'm not even going to plug it in because we don't need to plug that in. I was going to plug in the CPU one, and yeah, it's just, it's one of those things that it really does kind of blow my mind. And I actually spent £57 of my own hard-earned money on this. Yeah. I do slightly regret it. It's 100% going to end up going either into our little test bench system, potentially, or I might just put it in, like, if I do like a really cheap budget build, I might just chuck it in there, because at least if you put it in a cheap budget build, which is probably got like a 150 watt graphics card in it, it's going to be fine. If you're putting a graphics card in here which is going to try and use the 600 watts that it's rated for, yes. I really, really, really wish that somebody like Hardware Busters or Linus Tech Tips, or even Gamers Nexus for that matter, would do a test on these power supplies. They don't seem to, and I don't understand why. What is going on down there? Oh, it's flame. So I'm going to let you hear the noise of this first of all, so you can kind of understand my point of view, where I'm coming from. Where did I put my power cable? Oh shit, nearly broke my finger. Luckily I've got additional ones. Susan Robbins says, I know why they are shit. The thing is, if they're shit, then that would make sense for someone like Gamers Nexus or one of those channels that has the capacity to test these properly. It would be great for them to do it. And then, obviously, like Thermalright have got the market sewn up when it comes to cooling, PC cooling, 100%. Whenever people are looking for coolers, Thermalright is definitely within the top couple of choices, unless you don't know about the brand. If you've been on YouTube, watched any YouTube videos, so many people are using them, recommending them, from personal experience, recommendations, PC part picker lists, all that kind of stuff. People are appreciating it. Let's wait for the screen to go blank, as inevitably it will. Oh no, it didn't. The thing is, yeah, Sky says there, Linus has the testing equipment. I think there are just so many to test and no profit in it, besides goodwill. The thing is, if somebody did a test on these and they turn out to be absolute trash, look at all the reviews. Actually, go to Gamers Nexus and look at the reviews for the Gigabyte power supplies. Those videos got more views than other videos by a massive, massive margin. He could replicate the magic or the fire again, potentially. Anyway, I'm going to be really quiet now, potentially, and listen to the fan. So this is the noise level. Obviously, this isn't running at all. I will press the button, there will be a bleep, and then this will kick in, and hopefully you'll be able to hear what I'm hearing. The microphone doesn't always do it justice, so bear with. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. And there we go, it's turned off. So hopefully that noise that I can hear, you can hear as well, or at least get an idea of it. Or you could hear the cat. Not too sure. Let me know in the chat if you heard it and if you thought that was too much. Susan Roberts says, yuck. Dutch Jan says, ouch my ears. Skyscroller says, sounds about right, sorry, doesn't bother me as much as Mike. That was loud for a PSU fan doing almost nothing. Rick says, loud. Senrab says, couldn't hear for wife's fan, only the click. Does that tester put any load on the unit? No, it doesn't. So this is basically not a zero load, but it's enough load to make it turn on, and for the switch and the auto power factor correction to kick in. And yeah, so for those that say they could not hear anything, I'll put the microphone closer to the fan, so potentially you'll be able to hear it. So if I put it about here, you shouldn't hear anything other than the whoosh. So I'll give you a warning. So when I do that, it means I'm going to turn the volume back up, or I'm going to say something. So if you want to turn your own volume up or your speakers up so you can hear the noise, I'll do that. And then when I'm going to turn it back off again, I'll do that. Okay?
If he remembers.
If I remember. So. Okay, so hopefully you heard that. Sky says, yeah, sure, on the louder side. Doesn't sound too bad. It says Crypto KJ, sorry.
Reality asked, does it have a silent mode?
It doesn't have a silent mode as well. So there's no 0 dB or no 0 fan mode. So literally that is its quietest mode. It potentially is going to get louder. So let me just discharge this a minute. There we go. So that's now discharged the power supply. Well, pretty much. See, it's funny because some people are saying that's not too bad. Some people are saying they can't hear it. Some people will say all they can hear is the mic moving. It's going to be one of those things that it's going to be really subjective, and also if you're not actually here listening to it, it is going to sound completely different. And I have noticed when I did the recording on this for the video, I tried to get it to sound on the video as it did to me, and it didn't quite match up with what I was experiencing. So down to the microphone, it's a hard thing to actually replicate. So my apologies. Essentially, I think I measured this on a dB meter, and it was getting, like, the normal room ambience here is about 40 dB. So it's a little bit noisier than usual. But with this on, we were hitting sort of like 55, 60, which is quite loud. But there are other variables which are hard to control. So it's really hard to get, yeah, Greg says, everyone over to Mike's. Come around, come and have a listen. So that was why I thought, well, I'm not going to be able to return this to the land of the rising sun. So I thought I will try. Clearly, a Noctua fan would make an improvement, you would think. So I'm going to try that, but also the cheaper alternative was the P12 Silent. So I'm actually tempted to try the P12 Silent first of all. So this has got a fan speed of 1000 RPM, 1050 RPM. And yeah, it should be quite low noise, I would have thought. And I think this is about 7 or 8 quid. It comes with like a little 3-pin cable. This needs a 2-pin DC. So yeah, I'm basically going to take it apart and see if we can make it a little bit quieter, because I don't like noisy power supplies. And I don't want to just throw it into someone's PC and be like, there you go, have at it. So let's see what we can do. So unless you're an electrician or you know roughly what you're doing, I would strongly suggest that you never ever open up a PC power supply, because there are capacitors and there are dangerous things in here which could give you a zap. Now, I've done my best to try to reduce that by plugging in the tester there to actually try and drain it, and I will do that again just to just for the sake of, right, so that my ego, yeah. So there isn't even enough in there to power up a very basic LCD screen. So There may still be some voltage left in there, but it's going to be extremely minimal. Riley says, or you are just Mike needing content for YouTube. The thing is, I don't really like doing this on YouTube because with their terms and conditions, you never know if this could be deemed as one of those videos which they say are like dangerous or harmful. Like it's electric, so potentially you could class this as being harmful content. It clearly is not, because there's loads of channels that do this sort of thing. So the fan that's in there is a very cheap, nasty one. Now, something I did notice actually is the frame, when it goes back on, goes in a specific location, which I've probably just gotten completely wrong. So I think it was there. Nope, it is. Is it that way round? That's slightly in, that's slightly out. Yeah, it's that way round. So if I leave it like that, that should hopefully give me a fighting chance. So then I know I've just got to wrap it around that way, I think. Yeah, the screws match up, excellent. Yeah, this one, yeah, the Thermalright logo, which is on the top there, has to be at the power end. For God's sakes, chill out.
It's flames.
Dave, stop it.
He's being wound up by David.
Right, on the actual power supply, the internals, there's a 2-pin connector. So with that one, the red or the positive, so it's basically a DC fan. So the red is the one closest to the back or the power input. So I need to remember that. So black at the back. No. Red at the back, black to the front. Right, black and front have both got 5 letters. So yeah, that's one way of remembering it. So I'm just going to gently unplug that. So that has taken that side of it off. Now the little plastic bit that's on there is going to prevent us plugging in the PWM or a DC cable. So what I need to do is to get some smallish pliers, or actually I'll use these snips. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull that plastic off. So if I ever want to kind of put this back to the standard fitment, that can be done relatively easily. Let's see if I can get a bit of a grip on there. Yep, there we go. So the plastic bit, the surround is there. So we've just got the 2 pins exposed now, so we can plug our fan straight onto there. And just so this doesn't go walkabout, I'm actually going to plug that back onto there. Now you can if you want to. Sometimes you can be lucky and you can pull it and the whole lot comes off in one go. We know which way round the pins go, so I could just plug that straight back in and it'd be absolutely fine. But for now, I'm just going to leave that to one side. You can, yeah, someone just said there you can get 2-pin PWM adapters. That is also yeah, an excellent way of doing it. So that is the power supply. Oh, actually on the side there, show you. So there is the bulk cap, and you probably can't see that, so I'll probably won't even bother. But it does say on there Nippon Chemicon, 450 volts. And 680 something farads. I don't know. I don't know capacitors really. I know the brands a little bit, and that is about all I know. So, power supply, we put that to one side because we don't need that anymore. We are finished in that regard. So, try and keep this running the right way. So, Thermalright logo there. So, let's take out the fan. Now, that is going to be pretty straightforward because it's just normal screws, which you have with most fans. Microfarads probably. Thank you. Yeah, I have no idea. Electrics really aren't my thing. Many things aren't my thing, but I just blag it. If anyone else has obviously got any suggestions on what I should be doing here or what I'm doing wrong, please feel free to make your voices known. Other than the fact of just taking a power supply apart, full stop. Because obviously generally it is a bad idea. Now in terms of the cabling, I want to try and minimize cable. Dave, what are you doing? Go on then, jump up. Yes, jump up. Go on then. Jesus.
He's got his self right in the way.
Right, where do I want this to go? I think there. Okay, right. So I want to try and take up
Hold
some
on.
of the key.
Tails in the way.
That's right. I'm not doing anything particularly exciting. 2 cats, now I've got 6. Now, if I was going to keep this fan in here, which I'm probably not going to because I'm just doing this for a test, I would actually put a cable tie on the wires inside just to keep it in the appropriate places. And to be fair, I probably don't need to put all 4 of the screws back in here. 2 would be absolutely fine. But there's always that one person who says something like, if I turn this on and start rattling, they'll be like, oh, you never did that. And I've just realised I've put that in around the wrong way already, haven't I? No one.
Black at the front.
Yeah, no, it's I've got the fan in exhaust mode rather than intake. It should be in intake. I'm glad I didn't get all the screws in, just most of them. Yes, that was a rookie error. So, in that case then...
We were just checking to see if you'd noticed.
So that would be... I think that's going to be there. Okay, that's fine. So, actually what I might do is put a little cable tie. Have I got a little cable tie?
Got a little something.
Got a little widgeroo. Let's grab a little cable tie. And I'm actually going to cable tie the cable down as a... as a preventative measure, just so it doesn't move around or get trapped by anything, because that would be bad. So if you take the cable tie up into the back part of the screw hole, because we're not going to be using that, and we'll just cable tie it in place because there's ample clearance around the outside of it.
Oh, Molly wants to see you again, Dave.
Right, there we go. So now our fan's going to be like that. Cable tie is just holding that in place just to prevent the wires from around the side escaping and doing anything untoward.
Dutch Jam, question.
Hello, Dutch Jam.
In many PSUs, under the fan is a piece of plastic that blocks half of the fan. Any idea why?
Yes, that is designed to try and make the fan just work in a certain direction. So most of the time, because of where the heat sinks are, you don't want the air blowing straight in and going straight out the back. You want to deflect it. So the back section, if I lift that up, so the back section here where the power input is, normally the baffle will be there because you want the air to go in and then around. Whether or not it makes any real difference, I couldn't tell you. There probably is a good reason for it, but I haven't got one in here. You do have them in pretty much all power supplies though. You're absolutely right, I have noticed that.
Irish Outsider said, I think it may have to do with preventing wires getting caught in the blade. I'll move after the case my best guess.
It could be. It could be. I think it's more to do with air circulation. Although saying that, like 120mm fan should move enough air to cool down the entire power supply without the need for any kind of artificial air movement. Is that raining? No.
I was just looking what cat is on the chair. Poppy's on the chair. That must have been Otis that went at me.
Right, there we go. That is fully in there, and yeah, it looks okay. So I have to now connect up the fan. Now this is where things get tricky because I don't recall what the wiring is like for a 3-pin and which way around it goes. So let me grab the Noctua. So I'm pretty sure Noctua still use the colour coding on their fans.
Team Definition says, will there be time to try both fans?
Hopefully.
Which is better, worthwhile doing.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think we should be alright with that. I think we're doing pretty okay for time at the moment. That's why I did this one first, because I'm assuming the Noctua is going to be better. That's what the assumption would be, if you were to believe any of Noctua's own hype. So this is a 3-pin. So looking at that, so we've got a black, a red, and a yellow. So in terms of color coding, black is going to be your ground, red is going to be your 12 volt, and the yellow on a DC fan is going to be kind of like the spit and control speed. So that is with it that way round. So red and black is at the front, so that means it goes that way round. Hang on, black, front, red. Hang on, I'm having an existential thing going on here. Red's at the back.
Right.
Yes. So that has got to have a slight overlap. Oh, come on. This is where you hope and pray that the pins are the same, which they appear to be. Worst case scenario, if the pins are around the wrong way, the fan will just spin in reverse, because you're only supplying it a 12 volt feed. You're not supplying it any PWM data.
The right way around the first time.
No. Yeah, potentially, yeah. Potentially I had it in the right way the first time round, if I put the cable in around the wrong way. We'll see.
Welly God says, I'd cut the fan power lead, solder and shrink wrap the connector.
The thing is, like, you could do that, but the thing is, the actual block connector, the PWM style, or the DC style plug, fits directly on the board anyway. So, not really, like, you could do that. You could solder it on there. The only thing that's going to do, in this instance, would slow things down, because you'd have to desolder it to remove it. But I understand where you're coming from. And potentially, if my soldering skills were better, I would probably do the same. But my soldering skills are, well, yeah, not great. So let's see how it fares. I'm actually excited to see what this does. If this actually turns out well, there's a load of power supplies which I've returned over the years, which I could have quite easily just modified to sound much better. It feels like it's not screwed in right, but it seems to be. Anyway, best of luck, everybody.
Bang!
It thinks. Right, power on, and I'll let you all hear it at the same time. Now that is quiet. Holy shit. Oh my goodness. Unbelievable. So slow, is it moving much air? Well, it is apparently, supposedly, a static speed. I need to validate that. So it says there, yeah, fan speed 1050 RPM. It doesn't have a PWM range. Yeah, that's right, it's meant to. And it doesn't move as much air, so it's only got 24.1 CFM. Which isn't a lot.
Fan probably worth as much PSU. I was thinking that myself.
These are only like about £8, I think.
Oh, that's not the Noctua one.
No, Noctua one's like £15, I think.
Okay, Davey. Kissy kissy.
It's not moving a lot of air.
So its price has gone up a tenner.
Yeah. I don't know whether that is enough. That is super quiet. But it's almost like it should be faster. I don't think that's 1050 RPM. So I think, even though it says 1050 RPM, I was expecting it to be a static speed.
What's that tester thing saying?
It doesn't. It says It doesn't say anything. It just says the voltages. But I don't.
Would have gone for the P12 1800.
Yeah.
wonder if random fan from my junk drawer will be an improvement.
I just realised why that was rocking around now, because that side bit isn't in properly.
Which cat's tail is on screen? My son apparently needs to know.
That's Maisie.
That's Maisie.
So it is moving some air, but that's not great. It could be better. Right.
Check the temps.
I can't really check the temps because it's not under enough load. And sorry, I'll let this discharge the PSU a bit.
Maybe the PSU only supplies less than 12 volt.
There is that possibility.
DC controlled by the PSU, it will be slower.
That is true. But it should, actually, yeah, the stock fan, let's have a look at the stock fan. So the stock fan is made by YL Fan, and it's the D12SH-12, which is just a generic 12 volt fan. But I don't know whether that spins at a static speed or not. Let's have a look. See if we can find out any information on this fan. And if you want to look it up yourselves, feel free to do so. So it's the YL fan. And the model number is the D12SH-12. And the S is for silent. It says actually mute chassis power fan. It's not, is it? They're lying. These, Amazon sell these on their own for £17.16p. Jeepers. Yeah, this is the 2000 RPM, apparently. So that is, yeah, the P1800 would probably be a closer approximation to this. So we might have to go back to the drawing board and go back to an 1800. I think a 15, well, if it's a decent fan, a 1800 would probably be more than fine. Let's just see what we've got. Yeah, I think 1000 RPM might be a little bit too low. Yate Loon 12 DSM. New
Irish
original.
Outsiders off.
Cheers, Irish Outsider. Riley's put the link in there. Nice one. Are you sure you want to leave YouTube? Yes. Yes. That's gone to YouTube though. Go to site. Right, fan series. So they do them in different RPMs. So we've got the 12S. Let me put this on the screen for you so you can see what I can see. Stream desktop. So there's the models. They're ball bearing type fans, so they're never going to be really quiet because ball bearing fans aren't great. But they've got options. So you've got the choice between a ball bearing or a. I don't think it'd be a hydro. It'd probably be a bushless or brushless. So we've got, which one have we got? We've got that one there. So that says 2200 there. And the airflow's 88 CFM and 40 dB of noise. So in that case then, we probably want that one. The SM12, because that's 33 dB. Now that doesn't sound like a massive jump, but the difference between 40 dB and 33 dB is massive. Absolutely massive. Because it isn't like a linear scale for dB. As dB goes up, it's like, what's the word I'm looking for? It's a lot louder. So 1700. 1650. Yeah, I think 1650 would probably do it. And you're still getting roughly about 70 CFM, which is basically what you get from a case fan. Let's see if we can get one of those on Amazon. Actually, Kath, can you do that?
What's that?
Type in D12SM on Amazon UK.
Sorry, D12?
D12 SM for Michael. -12.
Dash?
Yeah, or -12. Yeah, that's it. Let's see what comes up. Should be a Yatelon fan. No. Okay, we might have to have a hunt around for those then. Magnitude, thank you, Lee. Crypto says, don't get a P12 Max, it will cut your fingers. Ask me how I know. Paul Lamont says, I see me twice. There you are. You're in two places at the same time. So yeah, I think that is the one. So I'm actually going to favourite that. And I'll put on the Booksmart bar. Thank you for that, O'Reilly.
How would you know the PSU is putting full voltage to the fan unless you have a tester attached to the connection?
Judging by the RPM of the other fan. So I'm pretty sure... Yep, that's done now. I'm going to take this fan out now. So at least we know this is a potential. It may not be what I want to use, but...
O'Reilly's put another link in, by the way.
All right. Oh, O'Reilly's found it on eBay. Let's have a look. Paulception, yeah. eBay, go to site. So $17. Old stock, fan never used but without original package, may have some tiny scratches. Well, that is a possibility. Like, $17 is still going to be cheaper than me sending the thing back to China. So yeah, that might work. Where are we? Oh, we're on the main camera. Sorry, my apologies. Right, so I think we all know the drill by now. So let's take this thing apart and we'll try the Noctua and see what happens then.
Is it discharged enough?
Yeah, it'll be fine. That Noctua should be 1700 RPM. I'm pretty sure that I bought the lower speed one. I thought it was 10. No, this is 900 RPM. Plus or minus 10%. So Noctua is basically the same RPM. Because that was what I was looking at. I didn't think about air pressure. Because air pressure is going to be quite a key thing.
Why buy a fan? Just buy a better PSU.
I've already got the PSU. And I can't return it. Right, so the spare pin goes on this side and it's that way in. Okay, I'll try and remember that. Actually, I wonder if Arctic do a slightly faster version of this one. This is the P10 silent. Sorry, P12 silent. Do they do a P12 DC controlled, which only does about 1500 RPM? Because that would be good. Hey Thanos. Any points to note done by from AliExpress? I'm not sure. I don't understand that, Paul. Sorry. Oh, Riley says about £9-ish. What's that, to return to the house of the rising sun? There is a house in New Orleans. Oh, right, okay. Oh, for that one, got you. I'm not going to go with the cable tie, sod it. What could go wrong? So this, in theory, if you think about it, versus the Arctic, essentially they're both the same speed. So that's 1000 RPM roughly. This is like 900 RPM. But it does say plus or minus a certain amount on there, so you kind of take that into some consideration. But which one do you think is going to be noisier? Do you think the Noctua is going to be even quieter? I don't think you can get quieter than that. That was insane. That was so quiet. It was like eerie. I didn't even think it was on. The House of the Rising Sun is Japan, not China. Yeah. My apologies. My geography is awful. Kath will verify that, won't you?
Not really, because mine's just bad, if not worse.
Crypto says you won't hear the Noctua at all. Well, that is what I would assume. But I've assumed many things, such as buying these fans actually, which I've still got the packaging for, so they potentially can still go back. So I can actually see the cable on here. So that goes onto that one there. Plug in, and a little bit of cabling sticking out there, front and back. Someone just said adapt a leaf blower. Yeah, that's probably not going to be helpful. If only my peers could see me now. to see what I've actually come to. This is what it's come to, ladies and gentlemen. Scrabbling around with a cheap ass power supply with a cheap ass fan, trying to reduce noise just so I can make a buck. Crypto says I got 5 Noctuas in my server, 3 120s, 2 80s, full speed, can't hear a thing. Well, the thing is, the Noctua fans are basically legendary, aren't they? For their noise profile and performance. So this, I'm hoping, because of the different shape of the blades, I'm hoping this will produce more airflow at the same noise level. The same noise level will be absolutely fine. I can live with that very, very happily. And in fact, I would, if I can get the speeds right, I would probably be tempted, because most fans these days are either temperature controlled or, ooh. Now that is an idea. Wonder if Arctic or Noctua do a thermally controlled version, because that might be worth looking into. Because then I don't have to worry about static speeds. I only have to worry about it actually getting warmer. Right, so that is done. The fan is not obstructed. Good stuff. Let's find a power cable. Turn off, plug in, turn on. We have lights. Right, let's see how noisy this is. Didn't expect that. I don't know what's going on here. I'm confused now. That sounds basically the same as the stock fan, but didn't seem to be moving hardly any air, but seemed to be spinning faster than it should be. So this is the Noctua NF P12 Redux 900. Which should be 900 RPM.
Or Alice put a link in the Discord for
a
fan that might do. Do you want me to put it in chat for you to look at? Or?
Yeah, could do, yeah. Well, it says here, this fan has an acoustic noise of 12.6 dBA. So you shouldn't, in theory, be able to hear it. So, I'm confused. The stock fan is clearly the loudest by a margin. The Noctua is the second loudest, almost the same, slightly different pitch, whereas the Arctic is inaudible. You cannot tell it's on. So something is definitely not right here. And I don't understand why that would be. That seems to be spinning at a higher speed. You can almost hear it. It's kind of ferocious. I think part of the noise problem is actually the fan grill. Not a very scientific way of achieving it, but...
But how would that make the other fan go out?
Yeah. That can't be spinning at 900 RPM. Or that is spinning at 900 RPM, and this one is somehow also DC controlled with an RPM range. So, how can I validate that?
Skystalker says you will get some noise if air is moving. Turbulent air and
yeah, definitely.
The other one didn't make much air move.
Let me plug this into the motherboard, and I'm going to see if this actually has a controllable RPM range. If it does,
it's to do with the speed.
But they're both the same speed. Theoretically.
Test the fans outside the PSU.
Yeah.
That will show you which one is louder. Take away the PSU housing in.
Okay. Let's try that. This scares me.
What is it, David? What? What? Do you want me to feed you? Yeah.
Never try and discharge a PSU when it's plugged in.
Hey, Poppy D.
Right. Let's take the screws out, and I'll just put the fan to one side and see if that changes much, if anything. I don't really like to turn a power supply on with the shield off, but it's mostly 12 volts. So now I can get that a little bit further away, which is fine. And I'm a little bit hesitant about plugging this in actually on the side there, because it is a little bit loose. Oh. Is that going to come back? Hello, McFly? Did I just kill the camera? Where are we? Main camera. Ah, there we go. We're back. Sorry. Yeah. Right. It's actually spinning quite fast, but it's not making any noise. Like it, Paul the Monster's dead. He's gone. We went flatlined. Paul the Monster says he's a first responder. Perfect timing right itself. That's good stuff. Good stuff. Right, let's turn this off. Because there are live voltages in here, and you don't want to be messing around with live voltages, because that's a stupid thing to do. You should never do that. And I am actually being careful not to touch anything in here, obviously. Which is actually quite funny, because the main live cables there aren't protected. So if the power supply was still on, or connected and still there, that would still be getting a live to it, I think. Because the switch is after. So you could touch those on the back and get a bit of a zap. Right, I think that's pretty much gone. So let's unplug that, and I'm going to put the Noctua. No, I'm going to put the Arctic into the PC behind me a minute and see what rev ranges it has actually got. The thing is with DC fans, they can be a static speed, but they can also be like have a range to them, like a curve. So let's see what we can do. Bloody hell, it's hot in here. Right, yes, 100% that fan is not a static spin speed. because that is getting lower DC voltage and it's spinning very slowly. So if I go into MSI Center and crank it up, so that means that the DC output on here, on the power supply, in theory, is variable. But that doesn't explain why the Noctua... Yeah, can anyone explain that to me in electrical terminology? So if the Noctua is a static spin speed, so regardless of whatever voltage is put into it, it always is the same speed. But I don't understand how that would work, because that would mean that it would be at full speed at 5 volts. Because most fans start at 5 volts or maybe 7 and then go to 12. And that's how they used to control the fan speed back in the day, with DC voltage control. So, yeah. I don't know. So that is spinning extremely slowly. So let's go to features and cooling wizard. And so that's at 500 RPM, I think. So let's go to manual fan and set that to 100%, and hopefully... Nope, that's the wrong fans. So it's not that one. So it must be pump fan. Actually, no, it's not even sending out an RPM. So yeah, that is not, even though that is physically spinning, it doesn't appear to be giving off an RPM range. So what fan header actually is that? If I could even see it. Fan number. Right, I gotta get the magnifying glass. Sorry. Fan 3. Okay, sysfan 3. Yeah, that's showing nothing. Let's go to RPM and we'll set to 100. So that's now set to 100. Yeah, you can see that's immediately that's spinning up. So that fan isn't a static spin speed technically, or the power supply isn't giving out the full 12 volts on the 12 volt section, I guess. But that at full speed is absolutely silent and moving a reasonable amount of air. Actually, that might not be far off. Yeah, 900 RPM, 950. Right, it's fine. I'm going to use this one. I like this one. As Thor said, I like this one. So I am going to use it. And to hell with the consequences. Oh, I might look for another one. Is there a P12 kind of silent? Let's have a look. Let's go to Arctic's website. I hate Arctic's website. I really do. Arctic.de. Oh, no, it doesn't need a... oh, there we go. Yes, let's have the functional cookies then. Go to the Stream Desktop. So we want, let's do server fans. I wonder if it's in, actually let's try just fans. So we want a fluid dynamic, and let's try voltage control. So that's the one that we don't have. We have the P12 silent, which is that one there. So what does it say? General specifications, so 1050 RPM. So yeah, we were kind of around that figure. Fan frame center, control type, fixed speed, but it's clearly not. How can you have a fixed speed if the starting voltage is 4.8 volts, the typical voltage 12 volts, how can you possibly have a fixed speed at 4.8 volts? You cannot have a fixed speed. That doesn't make any sense at all. So let's see what else they do. P12. What about an F12? What does the F12 do? Is that PWM? Let's have a look. General specifications. So standard, a 3-pin connector, 1350 RPM. That might be more and the same noise level. 12 volts DC, starting voltage 2.7, so that starts a little bit lower. So that is going to have a rev range as well. So that is what I want then. So I want an F12, yeah, just an F12. Okay. I think we might be onto a winner. Let's have a look and see how much Amazon want to scam us for F12. Because that little bit of extra RPM, I think, would do the trick. It would make me feel happier. Arctic F12 you can only buy as a 5-pack. Well, they're saying that it says there PWM PST. I don't want a F12 PWM. I don't want a 5-pack because it's 17 quid. Although, if I put them into other power supplies, I might want 5 of them. Oh God. Why is life never easy? Right, how much is the cheapest version of the 5-pack? 17 quid. Oh no, single. £5.92. Cha-ching. Right, we'll have one of them. So I'll get that on order. Happy days. Job done. Oh, sorry, I thought it was on the thingy camera, as you can see it. Sadly, you can't. Right, I'm going to put this back in here. And I'm going to use this one temporarily until my... actually, saying that, no, I don't want to put that in there, do I? Because I'm going to have to return that one when I get the others. How do you know enough air being delivered to keep temps safe? Well, that is actually one of the beauties of modern power supplies. So most modern power supplies have OTP and OVP. So over voltage protection and over temperature protection. So if it gets to the point where it is too hot in there, it will cut out. Which I know isn't really like a scientific thing, but I think that's going to be moving enough air. I wouldn't risk it. I honestly wouldn't. If I thought it was dangerous, I wouldn't do it. But I'm pretty sure, like, personally myself, I would probably be happy just putting that in there and using that. And I would just be sort of mindful that the PC that I put it in ideally has a little bit of positive pressure just to try and help it on its way. But I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to get the higher RPM one. So it's almost another 50% faster, roughly. Actually, yeah, 50% faster, which I think is just going to be enough to... It will then have a little bit of noise, airflow noise, but also it's not going to be at that kind of 2000 RPM, which is where the tone definitely becomes more noticeable. But yes, I am going to put this back in now. If I can remember which way around it goes. So red's at the back. Although saying that, I might go to sleep tonight and then I might wake up tomorrow and think, actually, no bollocks, I'm just going to send it back to AliExpress. Screw them. Hippies. I probably won't. I'll probably just be on Amazon and just order the F12s. Anyone on here that vapes? I don't think so. My son does. Or, sorry, I should say our son does. George is a vapor. And he's extremely a vapor whenever it's time to pay the bills. He's gone like a vapor trail. Gone. Disappeared. I used to vape. I used to have a THC vape. No scrubs. No, that's not TLC. That's TLC, isn't it? THC, TLC, whatever. Excuse me, it's been a long day. I'm tired. Hello, Poppy D. Oh, I think I'm getting to be... Oh, bollocks.
Did you discharge it first?
Nah. Ain't no time for that.
Bang!
Don't. I nearly had a little fart then.
We haven't run out of milk.
No. Hey, Jamie. How you doing? Viali says I vape, but not near my PC or electronics. Yeah. George's original computer, when he had it upstairs in his room, he used to vape, like proper cloud vape. And the motherboard and a lot of the stuff inside was just literally covered in a film. And it got to the point where it was actually dripping inside the PC. Now, it didn't help that his room is one of the damper rooms of the house, because it's an older 1930s house. And it suffers from having a single skim wall. So you can't have insulation in it. So if it's cold outside, slightly warmer inside, it generates condensation. There's nothing you can do about it, unfortunately. Yeah, so his room was very problematic with that and with the vaping. So now if he's vaping, it's like, right, open the windows. You must do that outside, or at least out the window. Well, he's saying that when it's windy, it all blows back in the house anyway, so kind of pointless. Right, so that is going back to Amazon. Which screws came with it? I'm sure there were some silver screws. No, silver screws are in there, so the black screws must go in here. Always, if you're sending things back to Amazon, ladies and gentlemen, try and send it back with everything, because it's probably going to be someone like me who's trying to buy the returned warehouse stuff, and I hate it when there's shit missing. So make sure you send back your stuff properly. Don't be dicks.
Put your recycling in it as well.
Yeah, fill the boxes up with recycling. That's definitely the way to go. If you've got any junk, like any junk mail that comes through, like from NHS or anything like that, rip your name off, chuck it in there, give it back to Amazon, bless you. Amazon are saying they're doing all these good things for the environment. We're just helping them.
Keep that record up.
Yeah.
Keep that Prince Albert going.
Got to keep our Prince Albert award going. Dehumidifier. We did have a dehumidifier in George's room for a while, but it died.
Did it? I'm sure we've still got it somewhere, haven't we?
Alright, he says Mikey's letting one rip now. Small fart to a big one. I would love to. But this, term is, I'm sat on this chair. I want to show you my chair. My chair, ass marks included, is like this leatherette. So if I do let one rip, you're going to know about it. Unfortunately, I'd know about it as well.
That's the air out of the sea.
Even if it was a wet one, I would know about it, and you would know about it, because you'd hear it squeak out, or you'd hear me go, ah.
And the cat's ears go up.
And the cats would be like,
Ah, flea.
ah. Right, let's try this one last time. Again, the monitor goes off. Are we still live?
Right.
I don't care. We probably are. Discard changes, close that. Discard. Still. There we go. We still live? Yes, we are. Right, okay. So what if I turn the power on? See that? I thought I did turn the power on.
You did.
Hang on.
When? What did you do?
Yeah, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. There's no reason on God's green earth why anyone would put in a stupid ass fan. Like, it's a reasonably decent quality power supply, give or take obviously the slightly narrower cables. Although narrower cables mean easier cable management, so what the Lord taketh, the Lord giveth. Takes away the quality of the wires but makes it easier to manage. I think that's a trade-off. not a particularly good trade-off. Charles Ballard, get in, my friend. My supervisor was behind. This is not me. This is his supervisor. Charles Ballard's supervisor was behind me in the hallway at work this week, and we were heading towards the door. I paused. He had to stop short. He starts to ask what's wrong, and I let one rip. Jamie says, Mike, I got the same Mac Mini and dock as yours today. Awesome. Have you upgraded to macOS 26 yet? It's cool. I like it. It looks good. You see if I can... I don't.
Not yet.
I better not pop one out yet. I'm going to put this sucker away before I cause any more damage to myself or others. So I think we've learned some things tonight. The first thing we should have learned is don't buy cheap power supplies from China, despite how you feel about the brand. Because why did they not just put a zero noise dB thing on it? God's sakes. That was all they had to do. Like, it doesn't need to be a perfect power supply. It just needs to give out the voltages they say it will. And, like, not suck too much. Like, £57 for an 850 watt allegedly power supply. Even if you take it into consideration, say, well, all right, it's not an 850 really, even though it has got 70.8 70.8 amps on a 12 volt rail. So 12 times 70.8 is 848, I think. I need a calculator. I'm not very good at calculators, or addition for that matter. Clear, right, 0.8 times 12 equals, oh no, I was way out. I said 848, it's 849.6. Of course it is, yeah, because 8 times 12 is 96. How did I not get that right? So yeah, it's basically 0.4 watts below being 850. So that's pretty respectable, if it gives out what it says it does. Being that this is only sold in China, like, they make BMWs in China which aren't BMWs. They make Lexus in China which aren't Lexus. They make Nikes in China which aren't Nikes. So it doesn't have to be 850 watts. It could be 5 watts. Who knows? I don't really know the answers, and I don't think anyone will. I want someone to do a test on this. Please, please, please. Like, if anyone's ever going to speak to anybody in the rest of YouTube media, such as Gamers Nexus, Kit Guru, eTechnics, LTT, any of those people, please, please, please beg them, say, look, this short fat bald bloke from Bristol, me, had a look at one and he thought it was kind of okay, but wants to know the full SP. Could you please test it for a laugh to see if it blows up or catches on fire, or if any of the protections they talk about are actually genuine. Now, I have seen there's an SFX version of this sort of, which is I think it's 550 or 650 watt, and that was tested by Hardware Busters, and they actually were quite complimentary about it, saying that, you know, it's fine, it's actually okay, which surprised me, which is why I had a little bit more confidence buying this than I would have done otherwise. Because Hardware Busters, I do have a lot of respect for them, and they do spend a lot of time doing stuff. So Dutch Jan says send it to Der Bauer. It's probably cheaper to send it to him than what it would be to send it to China. Sue says don't buy anything under 150 USD for a power supply. The thing is, I agree, but also, spending a lot of money doesn't always guarantee quality, because I've seen a lot of power supplies, and people have been talking to us in the comment section about power supplies, especially when we've done the reviews for like the Thermaltake, the GF3s, the PF3, saying like they've bought XYZ power supply and it's failed and they've gone with a Thermaltake instead. And it's like, you'd think that the brands that they were buying would be legit and good. But you can have any power supply at all fail. Doesn't matter what brand it is, they will have the potential to fail. Whether it be to a manufacturing defect, whether it be just to short-circuiting or anything like that, it can happen. And even the most expensive power supplies do, or can and do fail. I would argue they're probably less likely to. In all the years that I've been buying power supplies, and especially buying cheap ones, I'm still yet to have one go bang on me. Other than when I worked in a computer shop and somebody brought one in which was allegedly faulty, I plugged it in and it popped straight away. And the power supply was like literally unbranded. There was nothing on it at all. Not a single shred of marking on it. Not even a dodgy CE sticker. It was completely bare. So I have no idea what it was. But that's the only time the power supply's ever gone bang on me. Sky says, yeah, not everyone can afford or really need a 250 USD power supply, not in a $600 to $800 computer. That's like where I'm at, and that's the kind of things I'm looking at. For those budget PCs, or maybe you're using an APU, maybe it's like a cheaper AM5 or an older AM4 socket. Like, would you spend $100 on a power supply necessarily? Especially if you're building to a budget. That is where these kind of power supplies, not this one specifically, because obviously I don't know, but yeah, it's if you're in that certain kind of price category, buying a cheaper power supply, because these days again they're not as bad as they used to be. Years ago, you get absolute trash on the market, and I'm not saying that you can't still get that now, but certain brands like Thermalright aren't going to want to jeopardize their brand name by producing something which is truly awful. Now, some brands do it.
Leave him alone, Flamey.
Dave.
Dave's a bit of an over-exaggerator of crying out.
Come here. You okay? It's all right. You're a good boy.
It's okay, mate.
Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, power supplies. It is cat warfare. Rated voltage. Sorry, just reading through there. Angry cats. Yeah, it's like angry kitties. Swines. Yeah, so yeah, you know what I'm saying. Like for some particular builds with an older graphics card, maybe you've got like an old GTX 1080 or 1060, 1070, that sort of thing. And you don't want to spend a load of money. So if you can save some money and get something a little bit cheaper, like I'm a big fan of the GameMax Rampage power supplies. A lot of people like hate GameMax power supplies, and some of them truly are rubbish. Like the GP range are awful. I wouldn't buy one of those unless I absolutely had to and there was no other choice and there was nothing else on the market. I have actually bought a GP for an ITX system because it's like less than 100 watts. So like if it can't cope with 100 watts, then yeah, I'm seriously in trouble. But the Rampage range are pretty decent, and there's a lot of manufacturers and also PC retailers in the UK that use GameMax Rampage power supplies in their PCs. And like they wouldn't do it if there was like a massive returns rate or they were problematic. They're generally not too bad at all. Mark Berry says I got one of those Cylon PSUs in the spare PC. Yeah, the AeroCool Cylon power supplies. 27 quid back in the day for, what were they, like a 600 or 650 watt power supply? Wow. And actually, I sold a bunch of PCs with those power supplies in, and I've never had one back.
Now you're dumped in place.
Yeah, that's it now.
But then, how many years later?
Yeah, that would be like, well, that was kind of pre-COVID. So if they would have gone, they would have gone by now. Skystalker says, if you're flipping some PCs like I am in retirement, you look for something that works, is reasonably priced, and won't come back to haunt you. Yeah, I think that's definitely right. Drift Nation says, I had 100% failure rate with the Cylon semi-modular 600 units. That was fun. Rasher says, don't cheap out on the PSU. The whole system can be fecked. But yeah, again, we're talking like, if you're building like a 300, 400 pound PC, like putting a 50 quid power supply in, it's fine. Dutch Jan says, I have Be Quiet and Seasonic PSUs. See, I'm not sure if I've ever owned a Seasonic power supply. I've had to be quiet. I had the BT450, I think it was. That was pretty good. They were like 30 quid at one point. Crypto says Corsair and GameMax Rampage in my systems. Yeah, another one there likes the Rampage. I like the GameMax Rampage. They're all right. I just wish they would do a semi-modular one, which was a bit cheaper. Dave, you're so jumpy.
It's because he's so flamey.
Flame, get out.
Flame's not doing anything.
I know.
It's because they want to go to bed and you're in like that.
They are trying to go to bed. So I think on that note, we should wrap things up because we've come to the end of it. I can't think of anything else really that I need to do. I will try and get one of the F12 fans and I will let you know how that goes. Probably in the next stream. I think that's going to be the way to go. I think the P12 Silent is a little bit too underpowered. I don't mind some noise, but I would like to see a little bit more airflow because this is only giving out like 24 CFM. That's not a lot. That's like a third of most normal fans. So it certainly needs a little bit more oomph. I'd like to see sort of somewhere between 40 and 60 CFM to be happy. Anyway, so thank you all so much for joining us. Thank you for your kind contributions and also all of your conversational points. Without you, it would be pointless. I'd be sat here farting away on this chair to myself.
No, you wouldn't. That'd be me.
I wouldn't. I'd be doing it to Calf. I'd be like, fart grenade, catch. We've all done it. Thank you all for watching. Nice to see some of you back as well. James Miscellaneous especially. Hopefully you're feeling better. And Mark Berry, hopefully your back is better soon. And anyone else who's having ailments, hopefully you're on the mend. Strangely, I felt really tired when I started this stream. And now I seem to have ratcheted it up. I'm in the high gear now. Typically right at the end.
Actually, have we gone?
Oh, actually, yeah, before we go, we have got memberships to give away, which we haven't done yet. So we should do that. So we'll quickly do that. For those of you that get them, if you've already scooted off because you thought, end of the stream, quick, put on the snooker or Pornhub or whatever. Here we go. There we go. So 5 mics unboxing how to gift memberships to Ordinary Dude, Dirty Baz, nice name, Stephen Anderson, David Graham, oh no, not David Graham, sorry, yeah, it was David Graham.
406.
Is that only showed? Oh yeah, that's Glenn, 406 mil.
Yeah.
I think that's all of them. Yeah, Ordinary Dude, Dirty Baz, Stephen Anderson, David Graham, and Glenn. Excellent stuff. So congrats, guys. Hopefully you enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I will, of course, let you know how we get on with the fans. And if it turns out to be a thing, I might actually just buy a bunch of them to keep as spares, because some PSU fans are awful these days. I don't like those at all. Crypto KJ has also sent 5 mics unboxing reviews on how to gift memberships. Thank you so much. Much appreciated, Crypto. One's gone to Kenny D, the other one's gone to The Real Rambo. One to Waldo, hey Waldo. One to Pepsi, and one to Mad Mank 54. How old are you, Mad Mank? or what year were you born? I love it when people have that in their usernames. So, thank you all so much. Hopefully you've had a fantastic evening. If you have, smash the like button, all that usual YouTube stuff. I've been Mike. This is Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and hopefully we'll catch you in the very next video. Thanks for watching. Have a fantastic rest of your weekend, and we'll catch you in the next one. Bye.